Ladies and gentlemen, welcome live to 3 Wide TV, tonight's broadcast of the SimPossible Racing League Cup Series here from Las Vegas. It's the second race of the season, going all the way cross-country from the high banks of Daytona to now the very fast 1.5 mile Las Vegas Motor Speedway out in the desert. Who will throw the dice here tonight? Who will hit the lucky blackjack number 21 and come home with victory? I'm Peter Short, and joining me in the booth here tonight is Carlos Acosta. And Carlos, we were here at Las Vegas last night with the Cup cars, and we saw an awesome race in the American Sim Racing Series, but now we're shifting over to the SimPossible Racing League, and I'm expecting to see much of the same. If last night was any indication here on 3Y TV of what tonight's going to bring, this is going to be an awesome race. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I got to turn some practice laps not too long ago, and I actually found the race car a little bit, which is different than what we saw last night, so that's going to be very, very interesting. Tonight's race is going to be 120 laps around this place. Of course, that is 180 miles. Should be a very, very good show, like I've been saying. But I'll tell you what, Carlos, the interesting thing is the fuel percentage. You've already mentioned it. After talking with a couple of drivers, it looks like they might be able to maybe get to 30 laps with caution, but without caution laps, they're not even get to 30 laps. They're not even going to get to the quarter distance in this one. So we're going to see a lot of pit stops here tonight. Hopefully those pit stops will be under green flag conditions, and getting to pit box is going to be very, very important. It's something that's very new to this league, running a reduced fuel amount, and we saw it last week at Daytona. A lot of pit stops, and these drivers will have to be on their marks on pit road to win this race. Yeah, and this is not an easy pit lane to get to. In fact, there's a couple drivers trying it out right now. Eddie Hawks and Tim Masters right now just got to pit lane here in practice session. Doing a good thing. Practicing getting to pit lane is oh so important. I'll tell you what, drivers who don't practice that and don't get it down usually succumb to speeding penalties or spinning out getting to pit lane. And this racetrack, with how fast you're going in the corners, there's AJ Digby in the number 14 machine. He's upwards of 175 miles an hour in the corner. I think pit road speed here is about 50, so you have to slow 125 miles an hour thereabouts in the middle of the corner while turning and getting that car woed up. So very, very good thing to practice it here in practice. But as you can see, we now have moved over into the qualifying session. About 5 minutes for these drivers to go out there and turn a qualifying lap. In fact, there is the number 3 machine. That is Tanner Sharp rolling out onto the racetrack right now. Just working his way through turn number 1 and 2. And Carlos, we haven't mentioned the new tire model all too much this year in the SimPossible Racing League because we were at Daytona, but now we are at Las Vegas, and the new tire model is going to be oh so important to kind of come to grips with it because it's very, very tricky. You're out lap, and right down there on the banking where Tanner Sharp was when we first panned to him, it's so tricky to not spin those tires and not spin out those race cars. And here we see Tanner Sharp out in his first of his 2 qualifying laps, and kind of interesting to see Tanner Sharp. He's going to jump right down to the bottom of the racetrack here on his first lap. In fact, looking at most of the field, everyone down there on the inside groove, that's kind of surprising. I expected to see a lot of the drivers run the high groove on their first lap, much like what you do at a super speedway. Dave Wilson in the number 20 machine, he's running that high groove. Tanner Sharp's going to complete his first of his 2 timed laps. There's Tim Masters in the number 9 machine coming to the stripe. He's going to put that number 9 in the third position, at least for now. But I'm going to keep an eye on the number 20 machine, Carlos, of Dave Wilson. Ran high his first lap. Now he's going to go back down on the bottom of the racetrack. He's dead last right now, 6 of the 6 cars to take time. And now he's out there on the second lap. We'll see if he can pick it up. There's the number 4, Catilla. Yes, Carlos?
Hey, I got a reminder from lovely Jeff, the league owner, Jeff Schmidt. Hey, guess who back-to-back forgot to unmute his mic for the first couple minutes of the broadcast? That's right, it's me. I forgot to unmute my mic once again, which is funny because I actually could have sworn I pressed a button right after I counted you down to go to start talking when we went live. I guess I clicked on the wrong thing, or my mouse double-clicked because it unmuted itself. But thank you, Jeff, for the reminder. Thank you, everybody, for letting me know that my mic was muted. And Peter, you can go back and you can make fun of me now.
Well, yeah, it's happened again, Carlos. But I do want to say Dave Wilson in that number 20 machine, top of the leaderboard. Like I said, he ran that higher groove on lap number 1, got that machine wound up, came back down to the bottom, used all that momentum he had gained using that high line, and shot to the top of the board. There's the number 13 of Alan Capers coming to the line. He's going to put that number 13 in the 11th position. He is currently on the second of his 2 time laps, so we'll see what he can do. And here's the number 14 machine, AJ Digby, yet to turn a time in this session. We'll see what he does. He's going to jump down to the bottom of the racetrack in that Zulu Motorsports Chevy Camaro, and we'll see what he does. Looks like this is his fastest time lap here, lap number 2. He decided to do what the number 20 did. Dave Wilson ran really high on the racetrack lap number 1. I think he saw what Wilson did and said, oh man, that worked out well for him. Kyle Zimmer now jumping up to second on the leaderboard, just 1/1000th of a second separating Wilson and Zimmer. We'll see what Digby can do here at the line, and he goes P3. So we have Wilson, Zimmer, and Digby 1, 2, 3 currently up at the top of the charts. But Carlos, AJ Digby wasn't the man getting to victory lane last week, and we'll see. Let's talk about last week just a little bit. Daytona, high banks, high speed, and we got to see someone walk away with a victory for the first time in the Cup Series, and that was the 45 of Eddie Hawks.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race to watch. It was just myself in the booth, but I had a blast either way. And for those of you who, for some reason, have not heard while you were watching the broadcast, I lost my voice about halfway through. So, if you wanted to hear me going through puberty, that would be the best time, as a little going blast in the past there with me hitting puberty halfway through that broadcast. But yeah, very strong running by the likes of Protege Racing. They got the win, they got second, and they got fourth, getting 3 drivers in the top 5. And actually being the second closest finish in SimPossible Racing League history, with, of course, the closest finish happening on Monday. And we got to witness that firsthand, Peter. That was a fantastic race. But that was Monday. This is a Wednesday series. Cup cars back, second week in a row. Of course, we're expecting to go the full season. So anybody that tunes in, it is based off the actual real-life Cup series. So if they're running on Sunday, this is what they're running on Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. But you can see that the field now going to head down to the grid to get gridded up for this 120 lap, 180 mile event that we have before us. And it is the number 20 of Dave Wilson going to be starting from the pole. And it's 2 Fords that make up your front row. To his outside, the number 25 of Kyle Zimmer. Starting from the 3rd position, also on row number 2, is going to be the 14 of AJ Digby, and the number 3 of Tanner Sharp will start from the 4th position just to his outside. Row number 3, you'll find last week's winner from Daytona, the 45 of Eddie Hawks, and the number 32 of Billy Wise. Row number 4, the number 9 of Tim Masters, just to the inside of the number 4 machine of Nate Catilla, while row number 5 has the number 57 of Tom Johnson in 9th, and Fernando Matos rounding out your top 10. In the 11th position, the number 99 of Johnny Berardi. Carlos, you want to take it away?
Oh, yeah, I thought that'd be a pretty good, nice to jump in. My bad. But yeah, 11th place, Johnny Berardi. Number 99 with Chris O'Birch going to be starting the race in 12th. 13th place will be Alan Capers with Thomas Wise, number 1 machine, looking on the outside in row number 7. And actually, that's going to be it for all the drivers that qualified, Peter. I guess it would have been a smart thing for me not to open my mouth.
Well, Travis Zudema, Doug McCollum, Brian Lowhead, those three drivers did not take time. They will start 15th through 17th in that order. So it should be a good race here, Carlos. Only 17 cars out there on the grid right now. In fact, waiting to see whether or not the number 33 of Doug McCollum, there he is, finally jumping in at the back of the screen there. So it does look like we will have a 17-car grid, as we should see the Ford Mustang pace car begin to roll off here as the clock continues to tick down before those engines are fully fired. And there goes the Ford Mustang pace car, leading the way over Dave Wilson in that number 20 machine, and Kyle Zimmer to his outside on the front row. Great to see some paint schemes this year sporting the new color mappings that they can do. Very, very cool. We got kind of some color chrome on Dave Wilson's machine, it looks like, and also one of the best looking cars in the whole field, Carlos, is Brian Lowhead. It's also the number 9, but we'll get to that number 9 because that's a hand-drawn machine. But that man right there, Brian Lowhead, I love that scheme. It's got that very bright blue, but also some.
Did you see that?
I think Alan Capers is killing cones already. He's down there on the inside of the racetrack in that bright green and purple machine. But yeah, that 66 of Brian Lowhead.
No, it wasn't Capers. The 57 killed the cone, and then Capers went to double tap it.
Oh, well, if I've learned anything from Zombieland, it means you have to double tap. You always double tap. Anyway, pace car is about to head down pit road, and these drivers will double tap the gas because the green flag will be coming out here very, very shortly for this 180-mile event. And there goes that Ford Mustang pace car, racing the hands of the number 20 of Dave Wilson, waiting for the green flag to fly. There is the green flag, and we are underway here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Good start for that number 20 machine. Great start also for AJ Digby. That entire bottom groove starting to get going early. And from what I saw in yesterday's race, that inside groove gets going really, really good for about a lap and a half, and then that outside groove starts to form up just a little bit, kind of like it does at Daytona. But here comes AJ Digby already on lap number 1, trying to go for the race lead, but on the high side, which I don't know how that's going to work out for him here in the early going, Carlos.
Yeah, side by side here, pretty much for second places. Number 14 isn't really much concerned with the number 45 of Eddie Hawks, as he is trying to get that lead position there, pushing the number 20, just exiting the trioval and entering the corner side by side. Now go for second place as the number 20 got a great push at the corner and cut that momentum throughout, and getting a good run on the outside line. But that 14, with the help of the outside line, just catches up right before the entry of the corner. Just is unable to get enough speed to move side by side for that race lead.
Carlos, speaking of momentum, look at who's battling for that second position down there on the inside. That's the 45 of Eddie Hawks, last week's winner at Daytona. And I know that Eddie wants to go back-to-back here to start off the Cup Series season. I mean, who wouldn't want to go back-to-back to start off this SimPossible Cup Series? Really, this is the first 2 races of the Cup Series that SimPossible Racing League has ever done, and Eddie's going to make that pass over AJ Digby, although Digby's still trying to come back at him here on the front stretch. Look at Tanner Sharp going all the way down there below the white line in that number 3 machine, but Eddie Hawk's going to slide into second here in the early going.
Yeah, one thing to remember is that with this new version 7 of the tire model, the way you drive and how hard you drive does affect the way the vehicle is going to handle. Pretty close there for second as the number 45 and 3 goes side by side. But so you got to be careful to not kill your tires very early on. But at the same time, we got just 5% less than half the average tank. So you can drive a little bit harder than you would without. Than you would with a full tank of gas, just because there's less laps to run. So you have to find a fine balance. You can't go too easy and you can't go too hard either.
So one thing that I'm really interested about, Carlos, is whether or not we're going to see Tanner Sharp and the 45 Eddie Hawks once again getting close to one another. What we're going to see pit strategy-wise. Of course, we do have these smaller tanks, but you're only going to run about 25 to 30 laps on that tank. I'm wondering if we're going to see some 2-tire pit stops, because it's only going to take about 4 seconds to put 45% fuel into these cars, and a full tire stop is going to be about 14 seconds. That's fairly significant. That's 10 seconds. Do you think it's going to be beneficial for these drivers, as we see, looks like Johnny Berardi in the number 99 machine pulling it down pit road here in the early going? But Carlos, I think there's going to be some interesting tire strategies, and it's going to be fun to see how they work out if we can get some green flag pit stops.
It'll be interesting to see for sure, as a couple drivers who are practicing, especially for NIS Fixed or just the 8 Fixed series here. Noticing a lot of these drivers do regularly race official races as a form of warm-up and everything, and practice and having fun. But I was being told that somebody ran 50 laps, and I believe the worst their tires got was 54 in the middle. So that's pretty high, but at the same time, you might be able to make it work with a 2-tire strategy, especially with this new version 7. It's very unique for sure. Side by side, here we go for the race lead. Actually, in the corner, Tanner Sharp was able to actually gain into just a little bit of number 20, David Wilson. But David Wilson getting some experience last night with the ASRS series. Didn't get the finish he wanted, but getting some experience is leading very early on into this race.
Yeah, Tanner Sharp did not lead that lap by only 17/1000 of a second, but he's inching closer and closer. I think he clipped the apron, though. Speaking of inching closer and closer, just getting that white line, and that's going to thwart that run. So we'll see if he's able to reset and close back in on Dave Wilson. But got to give a shout out to some of the people in the chat. We got Roll Film Productions in the chat, Nikki Worsler, Jennifer Henley, and Nonstop rooting for Dave Wilson here. Billy Wise saying good luck. Yeah, good luck, Evers. Billy Wise music, of course. The Wise guys, Billy Wise group. So, gotta say, great to see you in the chat. If you are watching, make sure you make your voice heard so we can give you a shout out here in the chat. Go root for the driver you're rooting for in this race. Go make yourself heard, like I said. But this battle up here up at the front, ooh, Tanner Sharp looks like he might have got a little bit tight down there on the bottom. Had to check up a little bit, and he's going to slide in behind the number 20 of Dave Wilson, but he's not backing down, still showing that nose to the inside of the 20, going down the front stretch. Here he goes once again through turn number 1 and 2 down there on the inside, really driving it in hard. And Carl, there's contact. Dave Wilson
the 20 in the wall.
In the outside wall. Yep, contact between those two. And Dave Wilson now got a little bit of damage on both sides of the race car, a little bit of damage from contact with the number 3. As we see this on the 3-wide TV replay, it looks like the 3 of Sharp just moved up the racetrack a little bit. Good news for Dave Wilson is it doesn't look like it hurt that car too much here in the early going, but we go on board here. Let's watch this replay. There you see the 3 kind of push up a little bit, and oof, just a little bit of contact.
But a quick heads
it's a little bit of contact. This racetrack's very air dependent, Carlos.
Yeah, I'm actually not seeing any damage on that vehicle. It's possible, as I thought that 14 would have made some contact there. It's possible that we did see the hood crumple up, but then within the second it actually went back in position. So it's possible that on my end, at least, I'm not sure if you saw it on your end, Peter, but on my end, it expected there to be some damage, but on the actual server side, it said, no, there is no damage, put it back to how it was, which is common in these very close scenarios where in real life, you probably wouldn't be able to really tell, but in iRacing, they would have to guess before the data actually shows up. So, David Wilson probably not happy that happened, but these guys, they all know they're not going to wreck each other for the race win, at least not needlessly. I'm sure he knows there was an accident. I'm sure probably Tanner got on the radio saying, "My bad, bro." Maybe not like that. I don't think Tanner is a bro kind of person. Peter, do you think he's a bro kind of person?
Bro, I don't know, bro, but I'll tell you what, bro.
Type in the chat if you think that. Type in the chat if you think Tanner Sharp's a person that says bro a lot.
Bro. Meanwhile, the Dave Wilson now slid back into the third position, doing battle with the 14 of AJ Digby, and it looks like he rolled out of it possibly a little bit on the straightaway, so he's going to slide back and do battle with Kyle Zimmer now. As whoa, here comes Digby. Digby side by side with Eddie Hawks. This is a battle for the second position now. Good move there by Digby on entry into number 1 to get his nose to the inside of the number 45. And Carlos, we got to think here, this is about halfway through a fuel run now. In fact, we're over halfway through a fuel run, as we have now completed the first 15 of the 120 laps here tonight. So these drivers already got to start thinking about when they want to come down pit road, what their strategy is going to be. Are they going to take 4? Are they going to take 2 tires? What are they going to do? And this lead group up here, definitely, as Chris Roberge has now joined this 6-car battle for the race lead, it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. It's going to be a gamble for some of these drivers, but I think it's a gamble worth taking early in the race. 2 tires.
It's very early on, 17 laps into a 120 lap race. The race last night being 14 laps longer than this. Go for it. It's second race of the season. You know, everybody finished. A majority of the drivers finished Daytona. Second race of the season. It's lap 17, maybe lap 34 by the time they go down pit road. Do it. If it doesn't work out, then you won't do it next time by, and you have the data. Quick note for the people who have not been tuning in or didn't tune in last night. New rule for this season is the fast repair limit was cut in half. So now these drivers have 2 fast repairs. So something to watch out for in case your favorite driver gets involved in a wreck. They get involved in one wreck. All right, fine. Maybe no need to sweat it. They get involved in the second wreck. Maybe you can start sweating a little.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know Dave Wilson already got a little bit of damage on that number 20 machine. Almost got a little bit more damage as he flirted with the outside retaining wall coming out of turn number 4. And he's got a little bit of damage on my screen and on his left front after making that contact with Tanner Sharp there, Carlos. Just a little bit, just crinkled in.
Oh, on
just
the left
a
front.
smidgen.
Okay, I was concentrating on
on the left front.
Okay, that's different. Yeah, that would make sense. Tanner Sharp,
but
though.
Nonetheless,
He's not pulling away from this group here. Sorry, Peter. Tanner Sharp is doing a great job to hold on to that lead. Nobody's actually been giving him a challenge, but with this current Cup package, it's kind of hard to pull away. It is possible. If you have a fast car, if you're a good driver, you get a good combination, you can easily pull away. But you won't be able to pull away as fast as normal, and you won't be able to pull away within the first couple laps while the tires are still green. Within the first couple laps, these cars are 100% on the gas. Easy in, no problem. You don't even get off the gas. But a couple laps into this, in the draft, you have to back off the throttle. And I have driven at Las Vegas with this current Cup package. Maybe not recently, and it was with the old tire model. But those first couple laps come and go very fast. And after a while, you're gonna find yourself very loose.
Number 98 of Roberge. Wow, what a save from Chris Roberge. Sorry to cut you off there, Carlos. We almost had a wadded-up Canadian in turn number 2, and let's watch this as Nate Till in the number 4 machine and the 98 watch this save. They might have banged doors not once, twice, and Chris Roberge keeps plugging away. He lost 2 spots in that, but no damage to that number 98 machine. He's now back in the 8th position. What a save. Watch this again. Yeah, there's that little contact to his left rear from the 4 of Catilla. And the way that number 98 machine just got pointed straight once again, just very, very impressive. That's the car control that you see out of these drivers. And of course, if this is the first time you are joining us here on 3Wide TV for the SimPossible Racing League, this is a league of disabled drivers. All of these drivers have some form of disability, and really this racing league started as a kind of a safe haven for these drivers to practice and get better. But Carlos, over the year and a half they've been racing now, these drivers have become full-fledged, strong drivers, and getting out here at SimPossible Racing League has been a huge benefit for them, and they put on a show each and every week. It's awesome to see. Oh, we got your race leader, Tanner Sharp, the number 3 machine, headed down pit road as we speak. He's going to hit the pit road and that 50-mile-an-hour speed limit right at the yellow cone. So he will be the first driver on pit road. This is after 23 laps.
A little early.
Going to come down and find his pit box. And yeah, might be a little bit early. Looks like Doug McCollum also coming down pit road in the number 33 Epilepsy Sucks Camaro. And both of them going to hit their pit box. Good job by the number 3 to hit his pit box nice and neatly.
Wilson.
And here we go. Eddie Hawks and Dave Wilson on pit road as well. They're going to get down to 50 miles an hour right at the line.
No, Matos as well going down pit road. No issues here. on any of these drivers that we are seeing smooth into pit road. If they're going to be smooth into their stall, that's something that we're going to find out very, very quickly. But this is a lot earlier than I expected. I was expecting numbers in the 30s, Peter. I must have misread the information from our secret informant. But I don't know. It seems like a little too early. But I mean, it's fine if all these drivers are going down pit road, then I guess it works out.
All right, Carlos. Looks like someone back there. Nate Catilla may be running a little bit wide on entry to pit lane. But Tanner Sharp took 4 tires, Carlos. I'm going to see what some of these other drivers do. Eddie Hawks, he took 4 tires in that car. Looks like so far everyone electing to take 4 Goodyear Eagles, which to me is somewhat surprising. I expected to see a couple drivers take 2. There's the number 98 of Christopher Burge. Ooh, he went up on the banking. And he's coming to pit road. Sorry, yes. I thought he was exiting pit road.
Oh, no.
Because that would have been a penalty if he was...
Yeah, he stayed out the last lap, led a lap, went down pit road, entered pit road a little bit early, I guess a little bit conservatively, right before the backstretch ended, but just went a little bit too wide below the apron. He is in pit road now, but I do expect for him to lose a lot of time on track due to the very early nature of his slowing down. Hello, Gene MS. How are you doing today? It's Gene. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that the race lead has changed hands, at least for now, because Kyle Zimmer in the number 25 machine was able to get off pit road in front of Tanner Sharp and AJ Digby. And now Tanner Sharp doing battle with the number 14 of Digby. Remember, Tanner's got some warmed up tires. They're a few laps older than these cars around them, but with this new tire model, it's important to get your tires warmed up, and you can see how Tanner can use those warmed up tires to his advantage, trying to get to the outside, or to the inside, of the number 25 of Zimmer and go back to the race lead. So things have cycled around here, Carlos, and really the field is broken up a little bit.
Yeah, it's an interesting battle going side by side for the lead, but thank you, Gene. My day hasn't been too well, but I'm having a blast right now, and all my worries are going away. This is going to be some awesome racing we are watching, and we are going to be watching here. Side by side, still here for the race lead. 2-tire differential. Peter, I have a quick question. If Tanner has 4-lap-old tires, and Kyle Zimmer has tires that are half as old as that, how old would the tires be when Tanner's tires are 25?
23 laps old.
Oh, smart. Let's see what the other people say. Let's see. Well, I guess I kind of gave away the answer when I responded there. But yeah, side by side, still here for the race lead. Oh man, I'm not
Carlos,
a good joke
I'm an
teller.
engineer. I do word problems for a living.
Yeah, and I failed math twice in college. So.
Yeah.
I do have a degree though.
Well, good. Yeah. Very, very good. Right now out on the racetrack, looks like Brian Lowhead and Thomas Wise, the 66 and the number 1 machine, in danger here of going 1 lap down, as the number 3 of Tanner Sharp has gotten himself back up to the point right in front of Kyle Zimmer, and Lowhead and Wise will fall 1 lap down in the 15th and 16th spots. But here comes Kyle Zimmer once again, trying to get to the outside of the number 3 of Tanner Sharp. And Carlos, we just haven't seen that outside groove here tonight so far come in. It'll be interesting to see whether or not it comes in as the race goes on, but it seems like that inside groove has been the spot where you go to make all your passes. And keeping an eye on the fastest cars out there on the racetrack right now. Currently, Tanner Sharp, the fastest car of the last 5 laps. No surprise there. Tim Masters, Eddie Hawks, Doug McCollum, and Fernando Matos also turning some very good lap times out on the racetrack. So keep an eye on those drivers right now. Eddie Hawks trying to do everything he can. He's in the 4th position, quite a ways back off the lead. Eddie Hawks 3.1 seconds behind the number 3 of Tanner Sharp right now. In fact, you'll see him entering picture. There he is leading a 3-car draft right in front of Dave Wilson and Billy Wise. Good run for Billy to be back up into the 6th position in that magical butter machine. But right now, battle for the race lead. Here comes Kyle Zimmer once again, trying to get that lead from Tanner Sharp. And last time by, Zimmer led the lap by 9/1000ths of a second. The sun kind of playing havoc with these drivers here tonight. They're catching up to the tail end of the number 99 of Johnny Berardi. We're going to go 3 wide on the backstretch. I expect Berardi to kind of lay over here, let them by. There you go. Very courteous driving from the 99 of Berardi as he goes through turn number 3 and 4 right now. But looks like that allowed the 3 of Tanner Sharp to hold on to the race lead for another lap, although remember, Zimmer's got 2 lap fresher tires, Carlos, so that could pay dividends towards the end of this run.
Yeah, and something we were seeing there, but I guess it didn't end up working out, was that the number 25 did have some help with the 14 on the outside line. Didn't really amount to anything, but now the positions have swapped. The number 25 is on the inside, and the number 3 is battling on the outside. We're going to see how difficult that makes it, because we've pretty much seen Tanner on the inside pretty much the whole race, passing cars on the inside. We're going to see the challenges that Tanner's going to have to defending on the outside with how difficult it is to hold on to a position and with the engines and how they're doing. And we're going to see if the 25 has what it takes to handle the inside, because we even saw Tanner struggling with that. But something to note.
Yeah.
This race looks a lot like a miniature Daytona. You got a couple groups, especially after pit stops, a couple group of cars separated by another group of cars, all pretty much drafting off each other. Of course, this lead pack here, these 3 vehicles are trying to get that position, the race lead. But the other guys, they're maybe trying to work with each other to maybe catch up slowly.
Yeah, well, I was actually just about to mention that fact, Carlos, because Eddie Hawks has closed in about 0.6 of a second over the last 3 or 4 laps. So that second group is closing on this lead 3-car group, and I think that's part of the fact, just they've been racing one another, while that second group have kind of stayed in line and have been working together. So as Zimmer and Sharp continue to battle for the race lead, this time by give the lap lead to Kyle Zimmer by 28/1000ths of a second. Very, very tight for the race lead right now. Look at AJ Digby just trying to sniff out what's going to happen of these 2 drivers right in front of him. Just as I thought Zimmer might clear Tanner, the number 3 starts to come back at the right rear quarter panel of the number 25. So great battle for the race lead. These 2 drivers, I'm sure, absolutely loving it up at the front. And I think the number 25 just cleared the number 3 Tanner Sharp. Yes, he did. So, but Tanner Sharp says, hey, not so fast, and he's able to use all that momentum from the high line to actually draw side by side with the 25 once again. Here now on the backstretch, still side by side. So this battle for the race lead not over. We're going to see that second group close in on this lead pack. Of course, the number 1 of Thomas Wise and the 66 of Lowhead currently being scored 1 lap down, but Eddie Hawks, Dave Wilson, and Billy Wise. Oh! Almost contact there through the tri-oval between the 3 and the 25. And still they're very tight with one another. I think these 2 drivers are getting a little bit frustrated.
They did make contact.
You see, yeah, there's a little bit of damage to the right rear of that number 25 machine. So all of a sudden, a little bit of damage, that might give the advantage to the number 3 of Tanner Sharp.
No, Tanner also has damage on the left side now. They both made contact. Very interesting. It's kind of weird. Maybe like say if Tanner expected the 25 to go lower below the white line, which you're allowed to go below the white line. You're not forced to go below the white line, but you don't have to go there every single time. It's up to you. I guess it seemed like either Tanner or the 25 or maybe some other reason caused them to make contact. Is very, very weird for sure, as number 25 has ended up losing 2 spots from that. It is now in 3rd, and looks like it may be affecting him way more than it may be affecting Tanner.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Kyle Zimmer was right there on the back bumper of that number 3 machine, and now he's fallen back behind AJ Digby, just trying to hold on. Last time by, Dave Wilson was actually the fastest race car out on the racetrack, trying to close in on number 45 of Eddie Hawks, who's still trying to close in on this lead pack. But now that this lead pack not so racy anymore, that might prevent that second group of cars from catching them just as fast as they were.
They are.
There you see the gap between Zimmer and Hawks, and that's 1.5 seconds now between 3rd and 4th. So definitely this has been a good run here by Eddie Hawks here, Carlos, to try and close in on that lead group. But I think the question is still going to be, who is going to try the 2-tire strategy here at Las Vegas? You're going to lose your drafting partner perhaps, but it could be very, very important to play some strategy here to get the win, especially if you have some teammates who decide to use the similar strategy.
Oh, pardon me, I got the hiccups there. It's gonna be difficult for sure, especially with the way these guys are going. 43 laps so far of Green Flag Racing. These guys have been doing a great job of keeping control of the vehicle. Of course, these guys are gonna be pushing it a little bit harder every lap and every lap, but it's making it a point where the track separation is kind of making it more of a hindrance than it is something that that would make you go for it, just because of how far separated these guys are at. And the only thing you would do is move ahead of your current group. Of course, Eddie Hawks isn't that far off. He's only about a second and a half, but if he doesn't have a group to kind of catch up with, he's not going to be catching up with these guys on their own unless the leaders are battling side by side for the lead every lap. So that's something to look out for. As the separation goes on, the chances of people taking those strategies for 2 laps, for 2 tires, kind of diminish. It's just, if you don't have that draft, you're going to lose positions to the point where the guys that you left behind by taking 2 tires will catch up to you, and then they'll have fresher tires or better tires to pass you. As the number 14 of AJ Digby is kind of finding a little bit of a resurgence there. He's just trying to, never mind, it looks like the number 25 doesn't want to contend with 3rd place and is trying to get that 2nd place position. Maybe Cal Zimmer was trying to feel out his vehicle to see, exactly how bad the damage is, and after a while he's realized maybe the damage isn't so bad and is trying to maneuver it just a little bit more.
Travis Zudema in the number 90 machine has come down and made his 2nd pit stop of the race. And speaking of pit stops, we're probably only about 2 or 3 laps away from your race leaders being on pit road. It's actually going to be 23 laps since Tanner Sharp last pitted this time by. Remember, he only went 22 laps on his first run, so I expect to see that number 3 machine headed to pit road here either this lap or next lap very, very soon.
Oh, there he goes!
In fact, there he goes, that number 3 machine on pit road as we speak. Great job getting it down to pit lane speed, and Eddie Hawks is going to follow him down.
He gained so much time.
Yeah, I was going to say Eddie Hawks, fantastic pit road entry, and it's a lot easier, let me tell you folks, to follow someone onto pit road than to lead everyone down pit road. So that number 3 machine of Tanner Sharp doing a good job getting to his pit lane, but Eddie Hawks says this is an opportunity for me to gain some time, and both of those drivers doing a fantastic job of getting to their pit box. Right sides up on both of those race cars. Here comes, Dave Wilson coming down pit road. Left sides up on both the 45 and the 3. So those 2 cars both electing to take 4 tires here as we get ever so closer to the halfway distance. There's your race leader currently, the 14 of AJ Digby, stretching it out just a little bit. And Carlos, this could be good for AJ Digby and the number 25 of Kyle Zimmer. If they both kind of stick together and draft together, Tanner Sharp's broken up just a little bit, but as I say that, here comes Kyle Zimmer on pit road. So the number 25 is going to enter that pit lane. Still looking to see if anyone's electing to use a 2-tire strategy. No one so far. Although, as I say that, Alan Capers in the number 13 machine looks like he is actually trying out the 2-tire strategy. So we'll have to see how that works out for him in that bright purple number 13 machine. There he is. He pitted just 1.5 laps ago now. There's, the 33, Doug McCollum sliding through his pit box. That's not going to be all too good, and he's going to lose a little bit of time due to that. AJ Digby, your race leader, still running around out there on the racetrack, still trying to lay down as strong laps as he can. And Carlos, last night, the American Sim Racing Series here for their Hacksaw PC's Premier Series, I'll tell you what, the tires lasted about 20 to 25 laps, and then all of a sudden there was a cliff. They fell off lap after lap after lap, and we saw some drivers able to hang with fresh tires, but then all of a sudden, poof, they were gone. And this is right about the cusp of where AJ Digby is right now. As there's the number 1 machine, Thomas Wise, trying to get into his pit box. Here comes Brian Loadhead and Nate Patilla, 66 in the 4, but Digby's still out there turning laps.
It's very interesting for sure, and if we actually compare AJ Digby's last lap of a 31.4 to Tanner Sharp 30.73, that's I can't do my math right now because AJ Digby's going down pit road as the signs of me failing math are rearing up its evil head. As AJ Digby going down pit road, calling it quits there at about 24 laps on his stop on this stint is same thing. Following him will be Billy Wise and Christopher Birch is also going down pit road. Hopefully, none of these drivers make a mistake. Kind of looks like AJ Digby kind of like slowed down a little bit too early because he actually got off the brakes there a little. 32, same thing, undershot pit road just a little. That's something that's very common to see in Daytona and Talladega on these big tracks, but something I probably didn't expect to see these guys doing at a track like Atlanta. Pardon me, Las Vegas or Atlanta. I guess that works out too, but Atlanta's a little bit difficult with the worn tires. But yeah, I guess these drivers are trying to be extra careful to not overshoot their stall, but undershooting the stall can also be very dangerous.
Well, Carlos, I'll tell you what. The number 3 of Tanner Sharp must have had a spectacular stop because he has put pretty much almost a half of a straightaway on the battle now for what is the second place between Dave Wilson and Eddie Hawks. Now, what that second group of cars are going to have to do, they're going to have to get in line, work together, because the number 3 machine of Tanner Sharp does not have a drafting partner. He is racing Travis Zudema right now. Zudema a lap down in the 14th position in the number 90 machine. But Eddie Hawks, Dave Wilson, Kyle Zimmer, AJ Digby going to have to get together, team up, see if they can draft together, close in on that number 3 machine. But as of right now, Tanner Sharp, fastest car out there on the racetrack. So they will have to work together very, very quickly here, and no real racing one another. You're just going to have to work together, see what happens to close in on the back bumper of the number 3 machine. And he's getting a little bit of help now, is Tanner Sharp from Travis Zudema. So that's not what this group wanted to see.
Yep, pardon me, yep, it's Tanner Sharp. It's actually pulling away just slightly, 1/10 since we started reporting on that. But these 4 vehicles are going up single file. Maybe we'll see how these vehicles, if they want to work together, if they can actually catch up and just catch up by using the draft compared to maybe Tanner being that fast by himself. And I think it's kind of working. Taking a look at the last lap, Tanner by himself ran at 30.898 with Eddie Hawks and the rest of the group running about 30.7. Actually, Eddie Hawks was the slowest at 30.7. Everybody else was just a little bit faster, only by a couple hundredths of a second. So it'll be interesting to see, especially after they cross this line with Tanner Sharp running at 30.888. Let's see what these guys do. 30.6. Yeah, these guys are catching up. Not much, but slowly. But with already 9 laps on their tires, do you think it's actually going to make that much of a difference, catching up only by maybe a 10th or 2 every lap?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I'm keeping an eye on the number 98, Christopher Burge and Alan Capers. Both of those cars elected to do the 2-tire strategy, and their pit stops were about 5 seconds faster. They are about 0.2 of a second or so slower than your race leaders. So I'm keeping an eye on them. I mean, that would pretty much balance out to about being a net gain of 0 time on the 2-tire strategy. So I'm glad we've seen a couple of drivers try it because, this is Las Vegas. You have to throw the dice sometimes, right? But that number 98 machine of Roberge pulling away from Alan Capers right now. That's the battle for the 7th and 8th position. A little bit further back, Fernando Matos in the number 17. He's currently running in 9th, and Nate Catilla 10th. In fact, they're battling one another. There they are for that 9th position. Then you go a little bit further back to Doug McCollum, who's running in the 11th position in the number 33 machine. And then we have a good battle for 12 between Tom Johnson and Tim Masters. And then it's going to be quite a ways back to the 14th place car and the first car 1 lap down, the number 90 of Travis Zudema. There he is, right behind your race leader. If a caution flag was to come out, he would be your lucky dog. Brian Lowhead also being currently scored 1 lap down in the Mountain Dew Voltage race machine.
Yeah,
but that number 90 of Zudema still out there 1 lap down.
Sorry, Peter. We are just not in sync today. It was I blamed that on me not feeling so well. Tanner Sharp already 12 laps into this stall. About 10 or 11 more laps before they have to go down pit road. Let's go ahead and give a quick check on the other guys. 1.2 seconds. I don't know. I think it's enough for them to catch up, considering that before these guys went down pit road, it was pretty much straight 3 drivers. And then another group of 3 drivers, about a second and a half back, and now they find themselves 4 drivers a second, just about a second actually now behind the race leader Tanner Sharp by himself. So this is working. These guys can be together, but now the question is, can they do what Tanner has done entering his pits, whatever he's doing, if it's entering the stall, if it's entering pit lane, if it's exiting the stall or exiting pit lane, it's working for Tanner, and these guys need to figure it out very quickly.
Yeah, right now that second group car is about 2 to 3/10 of a second faster than Tanner Sharp, who's all alone up there at the front. So yes, they will definitely catch Tanner before the end of this run. And it's just a matter of how long it will be until the Eddie Hawks and the number 3 of Tanner Sharp pit once again. In fact, looking at it right now, they're only about 7 or 8 laps away from pitting. So, but once again, another 10th of a second faster was Eddie Hawks that last lap.
Yeah, not much of a difference there between these guys, but then the rest of the field is kind of really far back. 8 seconds separate 5th place and 6th place. Very big differences there. His first 5 vehicles, they're pretty much there. They're pretty much already there. So now the question is, will Eddie Hawks be content in second, or is he going to immediately try to go for that race lead? Which honestly, I think he's going to try to go for that race lead. As now these guys, they're starting to realize, all right, we're here. Maybe we can start racing for some positions. As the number 20 and the number 14 are kind of battling there, just a little bit, almost going side by side now here for 3rd place.
Oh, Billy Wise in the number 30 machine and the 99. If we got our first caution of the race,
caution's out.
There it is. The number 99 machine of Johnny Berardi and Billy Wise coming together there, coming out of turn number 2. And it has taken over half the race for us to get our first caution. Oof, that number 99 hard lick with the outside wall. We'll see if we can go back just a little bit further to see what happened here. But I was keeping an eye on Billy Wise. He was in the 6th position. And, ooh, that number 99 might have clipped the apron there, Carlos. And it looked like that 99 just shot up the racetrack. He was trying to let Billy Wise by around the high side. Here we go, on board with the 99 of Berardi. Here he goes into the corner down there, and it just looks like it got tight on him, and it wasn't able to get the grip. Maybe he clipped that apron just a little bit. It's hard to tell from the onboard, but you can see that was a pretty heavy hit.
I don't think he clipped the apron, but I think he expected to clip the apron and thought he would have gotten loose. So he tried to maybe overcorrect and plan for that. Unfortunately, it ended up costing him getting his vehicle damaged. But so far, over half the race is done until we got the first caution. Very great piece of driving for all these guys. As we're all going down pit road here for some green flag pit stops. Is now the time to get 2 tires?
That's an interesting question. Based on what I saw out of Chris Roberge and the number 13 of Alan Capers, I don't think it was going to work out for these drivers. I just don't. It was going to be close. Maybe if you save your tires and you're one of the faster cars out there without any damage, you might be able to make it work, but it's going to be very, very tight as the number 3 of Tanner Sharp is going to win the race off pit road. 4 tires out of pretty much everyone on the racetrack right now. It looks like the number 14 of AJ Digby going to come out second in front of Dave Wilson, but Tanner Sharp retaining the race lead on pit lane. Eddie Hawk's going to come out 5th, so he lost a couple of spots. Kyle Zimmer behind him, so very, very interesting to see how this all shuffles out. Eddie Hawk's coming out 4th, I do believe. So going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out here in the next few laps. But Carlos, do we have any commercials that we need to play here tonight?
Absolutely, we do. Why don't we go ahead and tune up one of our commercials here from the Wise Guys. We'll be right back.
the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
All
right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And Carlos, hopefully you're feeling a little better, getting some vitamins here under this caution flag. But we do have the one-screen pace car lights are off. And Carlos, fantastic run for these drivers, to get to the halfway distance, over the halfway distance before the first caution here tonight. And now we're going to have about a 53-lap shootout when we go back to green flag racing.
Yep, 53-lap shootout. It's going to be very interesting to see how these guys behave. They did 62 laps of green. Hopefully we can go the rest of the way under green as well, as everybody is back together with the exception of the 16th place position of Thomas Wise and Johnny Berardi, who had an issue very early on in the race. As a matter of fact, he's actually in pit road getting something fixed and the damage fixed. But everybody's up together. It'll be interesting to see now these drivers have a lot more experience behind their belts. Just how hard they're going to push it, who's going to try to go for what, and will it work?
And here's going to be the interesting thing here, Carlos. We've seen AJ Digby get about 27, 28 laps out of that number 14 machine. For right now, with only 53 laps to go, you might be able to make it on one more stop from here. It will be very, very tight, but that will be something we'll have to keep an eye on as this race continues on. Green flag back in the air, 53 more markers around this 1.5 mile Las Vegas Motor Speedway for race number 2 of the SimPossible Racing League Cup Series. The first year that the SimPossible Racing League is running the Cup Series, and number 3 of Tanner Sharp down and away, your race leader here. He's led the most laps here tonight so far, but the number 20 of Dave Wilson wants to say something of it. Remember, these two drivers got together earlier in the race, and here comes Wilson to the outside.
Yeah, these drivers have been battling strong here for the front 2 positions, and it seems like David Wilson definitely wants that race lead. He's been sniffing at it, led a lap earlier, wasn't able to quite clear Tanner Sharp. The 25 had a little bit better luck than that, but the 25 is currently behind these 2 drivers. David Wilson definitely trying to do the best he can to clear. Tanner's making some contact, wrecking in the back straightaway. Many drivers involved. Tanner Sharp, the 9, the 98, the number 90. A bunch of drivers as we have a second caution.
Yeah, this is the big one. This is what pack racing creates, and we'll have to see if we can go back a little bit further. But look at that hard hit Tanner Sharp got there. A lot of other cars involved. There's a number 3 machine down there on the inside. Dave Wilson to his outside. So far, nice and neat here. And I think the number 3 machine just came up the racetrack possibly a little bit. Came right across the nose of the number 20 of Wilson. Wow, look at the 32, Billy Wise. Remember, he was just involved in an accident. Look at the number 90 there. Zudema coming into that accident afterwards. Ooh, the 25 and the 1 machine having it coming together. This was the big one, Carlos. There are not many race cars still out there on the racetrack without any damage. I mean, I think maybe Eddie Hawks and the number 45, the only driver to get unscathed. Maybe AJ Digby as well. And Doug McCollum in the 33 got through that. But pretty much the rest of the field all involved in this accident here on lap number 69.
So, very early caution, not what these guys wanted to see, I'm sure. I'm sure these drivers are going to be okay. So, you mentioned a driver that may have already used his last fast repair getting to this position, or is going to be using his last fast repairs. A lot of drivers are heading down pit road, trying to get their damage fixed. One of these drivers is, let's see, 2 drivers actually stayed out there on the lead lap, AJ Digby and Fernando Matos. A couple drivers we mentioned that did not get involved. Everybody else appears to have gone down pit road and are likely to fix their damage. 50 laps to go, Peter. At a track like Las Vegas, would you take a fast repair right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, hopefully some of these drivers got a little bit of time to maybe feel out what kind of damage they had. Drivers like Dave Wilson, even though he pummeled the wall, didn't look all too bad. But then you have the one machine, Thomas Wise, and that race car looks like it's got a significant amount of damage right there behind Fernando Matos in the number 17 machine. So I expect to see Thomas on pit road, but there were some cars with not a whole lot of damage. One of those drivers being Kyle Zimmer. He's elected to use a fast repair though. So we're over halfway. If you've just used your first fast repair, you do get 2 here in the SimPossible Racing League. So it's not the end of the world if you still have 1 left, but it's a strategy call to use a fast repair or not to use a fast repair. It's just like, do I pit, do I not pit? It can bite you one way or another, and we see some drivers take it, other drivers don't, but I think what I'm seeing here is a lot of the field who did receive damage just took one. Probably because we're halfway, and I think the only driver who had taken one before was probably the number 99 of Berardi, although Berardi's currently sitting on pit road. I know Billy Wise, he had used a fast repair, and in fact, he's without a hood right now out there on the racetrack. There's not much damage on that race car beyond the fact that he's missing a hood.
Everything else looks good.
All right, someone down there in Billy's pit needs to find an extra hood. So if you're down on pit road, one of the other teams, maybe you can help him out there. But yeah, there's no real damage on that number 32 beyond that hood being gone. That's a kind of an odd one. Don't often see that one in the iRacing simulations, but nonetheless, your race leader is AJ Digby. And Carlos, I'm wondering if AJ Digby thinks that he can make it on fuel here. And last night in the American Sim Racing Series, we saw that being up front was a good place to be, as you saw the cone get killed back there. Probably Alan Capers knocking that blue cone around. But I'm kind of liking Digby's strategy here. We've had 2 back-to-back cautions. Cautions breed cautions. We're past halfway. This is when the race is going to get turned up to 100 for all these drivers. And Digby's out front leading. He's ahead of all the melees behind him. And so I like AJ Digby's strategy, and he's coasting around here under pacing because I think he believes that he can make it on fuel with only 1 more pit stop. I know we saw the likes of Eddie Hawks, who had no damage. He came down, I think, to top off to say, hey, I want to be 100% sure I can make it on fuel, even if there are going to be green-white checkers. But it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. It really sets the stage for a fantastic finish. Lots of different strategies at this point in the game. Well, maybe not lots, but a couple different strategies that we'll have to keep an eye on in the closing laps. But pace car lights are off. We're going to go back to green flag racing here in just a lap, Carlos.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see how these drivers are going to approach now that maybe some of them have had to use a fast repair. But I don't know. Less than 50 laps here to go. 47 laps when we do go back green. These drivers will probably be definitely trying to get that lead. As I'm not quite sure. I'm sure. The bigger question is to take 2 tires, considering that maybe these guys might try to go for a short pit type of strategy.
Either way, it's going to be fun to see it play out here on 3 Wide TV. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, if you're liking this content here tonight. Gotta say, give a few shout outs in the chat. Nikki Worsler very active, saying, dang, go AJ and Fernando. They're currently 1-2. Will Worsler Racing also chiming in, and GOM1600 saying go Zimmer. Of course, Kyle Zimmer involved in an accident. He's going to restart in 6th. But speaking of restart, the number 14 of Digby on the loud pedal, and to his outside, his teammate Will Worsler Racing driver Fernando Matos. Eddie Hawks trying to fill that door though here for the side-by-side battle now for the 2nd position. I think Eddie is going to take that away from Fernando here, and now we got a side-by-side battle for 3rd between the 17 and the number 98 of Roberge.
Yeah, interesting to see how Tanner Sharp, the 25, and the number 20 are going to be handling being behind the field pretty much for the first time this whole race, as the number 17 goes around off the bumper of Tanner Sharp. Heavy contact with the wall of the number 9. Caution will be back out.
Yeah, cautions reading cautions here, and this is what I said about AJ Digby, is he wanted to be ahead of the melee, and he was here again. And that's two teammates coming together. The number 3 of Tanner Sharp and the 17 of Fernando Matos, two Will Warsaw Racing drivers. And look at the number 9 machine getting a good chunk of it. That's Tim Masters. Looks like the 13 of Alan Capers getting involved. The 4 of Catilla getting involved as well. One of the other Will Warsaw Racing drivers. So once again, a lot of carnage here on the front stretch. And once again, I think we're going to see drivers running out of their fast repairs. I'm sure these drivers, this will be it for some of them. Fernando Matos, on the other hand, looks like I think he will be using his first fast repair, so that's good news for him. I don't think he was involved in the first big one that we had on the backstretch. I could be wrong in saying that, but this is definitely not what a lot of these drivers wanted to see, because, Carlos, they're going to have to use another fast repair.
That's true. That's gonna narrow the field down, because some of these drivers that did get involved already had used their first, maybe second fast repair, or will be using their second fast repair, and that's gonna change how the drivers approach these next couple laps. Where we've gone the first half of pretty much the race, green flag, no problems, and now this ladder power already two yellows with less than two full green laps of racing. So some of these drivers that have used up a fast repair out of position where they may be second guessing some of the other drivers and trying to take it easy, not get involved in an accident, and let things play out. Of course, that can be a bad strategy if the race does go green for a long time and you lose position and track position and are unable to gain ground.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see Eddie Hawks, he was able to take the lead from AJ Digby. Very, very impressive restart for Eddie Hawks. Went from the 3rd position all the way up into the race lead in that brief green flag run. But now we are working our third or 4th caution here tonight. See if we can bring up the race summary for you on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. There you go. This is the 3rd caution, 8 caution laps. And fastest lap currently, Travis Zudema. And Zudema currently being scored down in the 15th position, so there's been a lot of pace out of that number. Is he? He is back on the lead lap, so that's great. Zudema was scored a couple of laps down earlier in this one, now back on the lead lap, so he must have got the lucky dog in that NOS Energy Drink Chevy Camaro. So great to see that. He goes to his pit crew down there on pit lane, and looks like Alan Capers in the number 13 machine. Carlos, he's still trying to get some of that damage repaired. Looks like he has actually fallen 1 lap down, so I think he is the first of the drivers to potentially run out of those fast repairs, which is an absolute shame for him. But meanwhile, we do see the driver Eddie Hawks race lead, 2nd spot AJ Digby in the number 14. Chris Roberge, remember that save that he made earlier in the race, Carlos? Well, he's bounced back now up into the 3rd position. Tanner Sharp in 4th. 5th position, Kyle Zimmer. Billy Wise in 6th. Dave Wilson 7th. Fernando Matos in 8th, and then you find Brian Lowhead and Tim Masters a little bit further back. Got to give a shout out to Eddie Hawks. Got the win last week at Daytona, backing that up with a very strong run here at Las Vegas. And is Eddie Hawks someone that we're going to have to keep an eye on for potentially the Cup Series championship in that 45 Hawks Simworks machine? Because, starting off the season with a lot of momentum, it can definitely carry throughout the entire year, because it's going to be a long time until we get to the end of the season at ISM Raceway.
It's true for sure, and hopefully if we don't go 1 to green, we can try to interview Eddie Hawks. However, we are going to go back to green, so we'll see if we can interview a driver in the next caution or whenever we have available next time by. But all of these caution laps are kind of making that subject of 2 tires and pit stops a little bit more difficult. When would be the right time to pit? Should you take 2 tires, considering you're not pushing it as much as you would normally? I don't know, Peter. What do you think? 43 laps ago, restarting with 42. Split it in half? I know you're a big fan of that.
Yeah, I am a big fan of that. Yes, I think you're going to have to split this one in half. 21 followed by 21. It will be interesting with that slightly shorter run if anyone decides to do the 2-tire strategy. Really, I think you're going to need a partner or 2 to do it with you so you can draft together, because it wasn't really working out for the number 13 of Alan Capers and the 98 of Roberge when they did it. Although Roberge went from 11th to 7th, when he did that. So Roberge just tried it. He knows what to expect. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that number 98 machine, if he's in the top 3, he might try that 2-tire strategy if we can get around to green flag pit stops with, about 21 laps to go or so. But pace car on pit road with 42 laps to go. We'll go green flag, and hopefully we can stay clean and green to the end. Eddie Hawks is going to hit the loud pedal because the green flag is unfurled, but the number 14, Digby, fantastic restart for that number 14 as they go up through the gears. A little bit of help from behind from the number 3 of Tanner Sharp, and Digby almost cleared the number 45 going off into turn number 1, but now that inside line started to be strong. That outside line, though, formed up just a little bit better. Can they get the push here down the backstretch to pole vault the number 14 of Digby to the lead, Carlos?
Yeah, that outside line just hasn't had that oomph that they've been looking for compared to the previous races that have been run. Not just in here, but also in Daytona. As Tanner Sharp got heavily denied by the number 98 and almost came across 25 of Kyle Zimmer there across the start-finish line. That inside line showing its strength yet again as Eddie Hawks is doing a great job just holding on to that lead. He did it on Monday and he's looking to do it again. So far, 3 races this season. Eddie Hawks has won 2 of them, and he's in prime position to win a 3rd one, making it 3 in a row if you count the Monday night series. It's interesting for sure. 3 wide going for that 2nd place spot, as it is a little bit difficult to pass the race leader, especially when you have other vehicles trying to go side by side with you, Peter.
Yeah, without a doubt. And now Digby going to slot into the 2nd spot, and that's going to move Tanner Sharp back into 4th, with Chris Roberge splitting the 14 and the 3 as of right now. And look at Dave Wilson in that 3-wide TV Ford Mustang. He's got himself up into the 5th position after getting around the 25 of Kyle Zimmer. And looks like Wilson wants a little bit more up there on the top side, trying to help out the number 98, the Canada car driven by Chris Roberge. Of course, both Chris Roberge and Dave Wilson are Canadians, but we got a side-by-side battle for the race lead. The 14 of AJ Digby is dropped to the inside of the number 45. Eddie Hawks, whoa! Tanner Sharp into the number 20, the number 98 there in the center of the corner. Yeah, wow, that was really tight once again. Looks like the number 3, he's been struggling with that arrow push down there right on the bottom. It looked like it almost got him once again. Let's be careful here coming off of turn number 2. As we're 2 by 2 right up at the front. Digby trying to pull ahead of the 45 Eddie Hawks, just unable to do so. 2 Chevrolets on the bottom, both fielded by Will Worcester Racing, and 3 Ford Mustangs on the top side, led by the 45 of Eddie Hawks.
Yeah, side by side as these guys keep on going on, battling for the race lead, as we're starting to get ourselves right back in the norm that we had in this first half of the races. These drivers are starting to push it more, as we're seeing more vehicles actually running up front and staying with this lead pack compared to what we saw very early on in this race. Is that outside line, it's not that strong, even with all these drivers out there, but the drivers are not quitting. They're still pushing. They're still doing their best to get on the outside line, because if done correctly, it actually should be faster. It's just, oh, so close there. It's just doesn't have that final little bit there to get that thing running.
Yeah, whoa, here comes the 98 of Roberge. We're going to go 3 wide for the race lead down the back stretch. Look at the 98 split, the 14 and the 45. Oh, contact! And the 98 sideways, the 3's involved, the 98, oh no, the 17 of Matos going around as well. And 3 wide racing here. A little bit of contact between the 98 and I think the 45 of Eddie Hawks. Put both of those cars in for a spin. Eddie Hawks able to save it,
Matos.
but oof, Matos. Tough break for Fernando there in that black and gold machine. Let's see this one from the helicopter cam. It was 3 wide, and I think looks like the 45 of Hawks tried to shallow out the entry just a little bit and got into the side of that number 98. Good save by Eddie Hawks, but unable to save it was the number 98 of Roberge, and nowhere for the number 17 of Fernando Matos to go. And I'm a little bit worried here for Matos, Carlos. I know he has multiple fans in the chat here tonight, and just absolutely no way to go for him.
So close.
Man.
if that was a game of inches, if he was just maybe a little bit higher, he would have been able to miss that. But that's not something that that you can go back and change anytime soon. So heavy damage for a majority of these drivers, as I think everybody's going down pit road.
Yeah, we do see everyone on pit road. Of course, you cannot make it on fuel from here, so there will have to be at least one more pit stop as everyone goes to their pit box. Now, Carlos, if you're Dave Wilson, do you think about maybe taking 2 tires here? Someone who's a little bit further back, someone who's shown he has a lot of pace. Do you think maybe 2 tires here and then split it only 17 laps towards the end? Even less than that. Nope. As I say that, Dave Wilson looks like his left sides are going up, and AJ Digby will win the race off pit road in that bright red and black number 14 machine. And right over Dave Wilson, who pole vaulted himself up into second. Eddie Hawks comes out third. Kyle Zimmer. Tanner Sharp elected to use a fast repair in that National Guard number 3 Will Worcester Racing machine. Tim Masters in seventh, and I'm seeing a couple other drivers here, Carlos. And Fernando Matos, good news for him. He did have a fast repair left.
Oh, good. That's good news for him as, well, that cone got killed. A lot of these drivers that aren't named Alan Capers is actually killing these cones, and it's starting to become a little bit worrisome if you are a cone fan, especially that blue cone. But, yeah, Tanner Sharp taking a fast repair, same thing for Fernando Matos taking a fast repair. 34 laps to go. You cannot make it from here. 2 tires, though, when you next pit 2 tires? Or...
That's what I think. I think you're definitely going to have to go 2 tires towards the end. I don't think no tires will work, Carlos, but I definitely believe that 2 tires will work. I think it's just a little bit too many laps for no tires. You're still going to have to be stopped on pit road for a brief period of time. But if these drivers don't do 2 tires on that final pit stop, I just don't think they're going to be able to come back from it. Of course, that is only if it's green flag pit stops. If there's a caution, I think they're all going to come down and take 4. But there's just not much fuel that you have to take with these race cars, especially because you're only going to have to take about 17 laps worth of fuel, even less than that probably, if you split this race in 2. So not much fuel is going to be needed. Now, can say that bad news for Alan Capers in the number 13 machine. He actually has taken that car to the garage and will be scored with a 16th place finish here tonight. Chris Roberge in the number 98 Canada Ford Mustang. He's sitting on pit road right now trying to get as much damage repaired as possible. Got a pretty good lick from that one. And he might be out of fast repairs much like Alan Capers was. And I noticed, Carlos, there was quite a few drivers on that last run who were off the pace. Really, we had about a 7-8 car breakaway up at the front, and then there was a big gap back to the last portion of the field. And so some of those cars with damage really being affected by that damage.
All right, let's go see if we can quickly talk to somebody. Peter, I'll let you figure out who you want to talk to. As taking a look so far, Thomas Wise is currently on the lead lap, but he's being shown with 18 laps on his tires. I don't believe he went that pit order. I believe he may have gotten the free pass to get in that position. I'm not quite sure. It's a bit weird that he's there and not not having gone down pit road without being in the lead. Peter, who have you caught up with?
Well, we have 1 lap to go until we go back to Green Flag Racing, but I've caught up with AJ Digby just real fast. AJ, how are you going to keep that number 14 out front?
Just going to try to do the best I can in this early run, just try to hold the bottom. Got it really fast, but so did these other guys, and with this car package and the draft, anything can happen, but I've done a good job to be able to save all of the tires and fuel that I can, and I've saved both fast repairs so far, but just going to try to hold the bottom, keep it clean, and see what happens. I'm expecting another caution or 2 here before the end of it, but we'll see how this goes.
All right, best of luck there, AJ.
Thank you.
All right, well, that is AJ Digby, of course, sporting both the Zulu Motorsports and the Will Worcester Racing on that race cart. And currently your race leader over the number 20 of Dave Wilson. In the 3rd position, Eddie Hawks. 4th is Kyle Zimmer. 5th is the number 3 of Tanner Sharp. And 6th, Tim Masters. That's the front 3 rows as we about to go back to Green Flag Racing. Going to be 31 laps to go. So only 15 and a half laps until the half distance between now and the checkered flag. So we'll see whether or not that flashes into the heads of any of these drivers. if we can stay clean and green to that distance. But AJ Digby rockets away. Good restart for him. Going to use that inside groove. Ooh, a little bit impatient there possibly from the number 3 of Tanner Sharp. Getting close to that apron again. And Carlos, we've seen a couple of these drivers hit that apron here today and have to suffer the consequences.
Yeah, it's a tight line you have to maneuver. As make one mistake and you're going to be costing a driver a possibly good finish, considering how dangerously close we are getting those faster pairs fixed. But side by side, still here for the lead lap, for the race lead is number 14 of AJ Digby, doing the best he can to just hold on and not let people go by. People like Eddie Hawk, people like David Wilson, especially people like Tanner Sharp, who's proven that he has a very fast vehicle here tonight. Side by side into turns 3 and 4 goes to battle for second place. Is AJ Digby, as long as these guys are battling second place, he's going to be happy.
Yeah, I mean, side by side for the second position, really side by side possibly for the race lead, as looks like Eddie Hawks had to back out of that there just a little bit on the inside groove. Almost ran into the back of the number 14 of Digby, and that's going to allow Kyle Zimmer to use the highline to jump up into the third position. But here comes Dave Wilson in that number 23 wide TV machine, still trying to get that race lead there side by side, and this is going to be very close. We're going to see who leads this lap, and it's going to be Digby, but not by too much. In fact, last time by only 29 one-thousandths of a second did the number 14 lead that lap. Look at Zimmer in the 25 machine. BW Designs on the hood of that race car, trying to figure out who he wants to go with here as we ride on board with the 25 of Zimmer.
Yeah, these two guys going for the race lead. Kyle Zimmer, I thought he was thinking about maybe going 3 wide there, but I guess he decided to push onto the back of the 14. That inside line is working like a charm, and that may have a little bit of something to do with the weather right now. 68 degrees air temperature, 76 degrees track temperature. That's a cold day in Florida, but in Las Vegas, it's a pretty chilly day. It's a pretty warm. No. It's a pretty chilly day. I don't know where I was going with my analogy. Well, it was almost some contact there with the number 45, and I'm not quite sure who was number 3 of Tanner Sharp. Almost close there, but Peter, why don't you go ahead and continue to talk so my embarrassment can go hide in the corner.
Well, hopefully you don't hide away for too long. You need to be right here beside me, and I'm sure you're going to be on the edge of your seat for these last few laps, because we got this great side-by-side battle continuing for the race lead. Dave Wilson to the outside of the 14 of Digby, and we have seen this lap after lap after lap here tonight. If you're just now joining us, make yourself heard in the chat. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe to the 3 Wide TV channel so you don't miss the SimPossible Racing League week after week for more side-by-side action like this. Got to give a shout out to TJ Jeff Schmidt saying, hey, come on back and race with us here on 3 Wide TV in the SimPossible Racing League. And Max Calder always rooting for his friend Fernando Matos, and Fernando looks like he's starting to make some progress up the field in that number 17 machine. He's currently in the 11th position, but closing in on the 10th spot of Ryan Lodehead as we speak. But whoa, look at Travis Zudema all the way down there on the inside groove in that NOS Energy Drink Chevy Camaro. And great recovery for this driver of the number 90 machine. Zudema was 2 laps down at one point during pit cycles, and now Zudema finds himself in the 4th position, doing battle with Kyle Zimmer for that spot. Zimmer to the outside, the number 90 of Zudema to the inside. As back up at the front, same thing, same story. The 20 of Wilson trying to use the outside line, but now AJ Digby's done something he hasn't been able to do for a while, and that's clear the 2nd place car. So the 14 of Digby, now your outright race leader. 23 laps to go. I expect to see most of these cars on pit road very, very soon. And Carlos, really the pit window is now open.
Yes.
As of right now, you could come down pit road and make it to the end of the race. So, really, you don't really want to pit too soon, because then you're probably going to lose the draft. And the draft is important. We've seen that here tonight. We saw a 4-car tandem catch a single car quite significantly. So you don't want to pit too early, but you don't want to pit too late because of tires. It's going to be interesting to see when these drivers start to come down pit road. It will be pretty soon, probably in about the next 6 to 7 laps.
Yeah, if you were driving this race, or if you were crew chief, when would you tell your driver to go down pit road?
Well, it's going to be a gamble if you early, even if you pit at the halfway distance. It's going to be a gamble. We've seen quite a few cautions in this last half of the race. Remember, first half of the race, 0 caution. But in this last half, we've seen, I believe, 4 cautions now. So, you know, if you pit early and you get a caution, well, you're kind of screwed. If you pit late and don't get a caution, then you're going to be equally screwed. So, I'm always the type of person, man, I'm going to split that last run in half. There's a 50-50 chance almost at this point in the race of whether or not there's going to be another yellow. So I think pitting at the halfway distance, taking 2 tires, I think you're still going to lose a lap, even if you take 2 tires. But remember, you don't have to take a lot of fuel because you're going to get to the end of the race here pretty soon. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens out of these drivers.
Dave Wilson is driving one fast machine. As these last couple laps, he's been trying to get to the outside of Eddie Hawks, who is already on the outside of the number 25 of Kyle Zimmer. Eddie Hawks blocked him, but you see right there, David Wilson trying to maybe get on the outside line, that third groove, and maybe try to compete and get himself in a good position. As now Eddie Hawks is actually cleared potential third place or potential second place threat Kyle Zimmer, and is now trying to compete for the race win. Slight contact there, entering the corner here, 3 and 4. All these drivers are able to make it nice and clean, no problem there. This is now side by side. Well, it's just side by side for just 2 rows on back. Tanner Sharp being the 5th driver there, the 5th wheel. Might get some competition from Travis Zudema, Peter, but 18 laps to go, 16 laps in their current tire stints. It's going to be interesting who's going to shoot first, who's going to go down pit road first, and hope to not get a caution right away.
Yeah, I mean, we got this field now closing up to the back bumper of Thomas Wise, and Thomas has been very courteous all race long of letting these drivers go around him. But here comes Eddie Hawks to the inside of AJ Digby. Eddie just taking it a little bit lower down there on the apron, and Eddie Hawks trying to get back up to the race lead. He's led a good portion of this race, still just trying to get that race lead from Digby. Great move down there on the apron, Carlos.
Yeah, Eddie Hawks has been there pretty much in contention for the win every single race this season. But David Wilson is a good position right there. When they make a mistake, he's going to try to shoot down low. 3 wide here, almost in the grass there, as that excitement's going to have AJ Digby clear these 2 drivers, as Eddie Hawks went just a little bit too wide.
Carlos, we have a taker on pit road. The man who's been pitting first all night long, the number 3 of Tanner Sharp, also the 98 of Chris Roberge on pit road. Remember, Roberge has quite a bit of damage in that race car. He's decided to come down, but Tanner Sharp in his pit box. What's he going to do? Is he going to take 2? Is he going to take 4? He's going to take 4 tires. 4 tires on the number 3 machine. That is an interesting move. I don't think that move is going to pay off for Tanner Sharp, but only time will tell, as we only have 15 laps to go. AJ Digby still leading the way in the number 14 machine with help from Dave Wilson behind. That group has actually split up a little bit, Carlos, due to that 3 wide, because Eddie Hawks is now about, we'll see what it is at the line this time, but last time that was about 0.7 of a second between himself and the race leader. Now it's up to a second, so it's really ballooning between AJ Digby and Eddie Hawks. This is very, very interesting. Kyle Zimmer in the 4th position. Travis Zudema now in 5th. How will this affect the number 3 of Tanner Sharp? And Tanner Sharp, Carlos, all alone by himself, but we have seen him get to pit road oh so well all night long.
Yeah, these drivers are... Hold on, we got drivers slowing down. Number 45 of Eddie Hawks going down pit road. To be interesting for sure to see where he lines up after all of this is done, and when these drivers are going to be pitting down. It's got to be impossible to try to make this whole thing without pitting, right, Peter? There's just no way.
Yeah, there is absolutely no way. You have to come down pit road one more time. When will we see AJ Digby blink? When will Dave Wilson blink? Will we see 2 tires? Will we see 4 tires? Let's see what the 45 of Eddie Hawks
slowing down
does here. Oh, here comes this is the 20 of Dave Wilson.
Yes,
is
it's the
that right,
20 of
Carlos?
Dave Wilson. Yep, 25 of Kyle Zimmer as well. Going down pit road, no issues there. Nice smooth entry into pit road. We're gonna see how these drivers are actually entering their stall, because that's where this whole race could be won or lost right here with 12 laps to go. Don't want to make that mistake, and if you're gonna take 2 tires, make sure everything's set up correctly. Any of these drivers mess up.
Eddie Hawks took 4 tires, Carlos. That's
Yeah.
kind of surprising. These drivers are electing to take 4 here, not 2. I just don't see the benefit of taking 4 tires.
There we go,
here with
there we
so
go.
few
Kyle
laps
Zimmer, 2
left.
tires.
All right, so finally someone brave enough to try the strategy.
Billy
We'll
Wise,
see
2
how
tires
it
too.
works out for Kyle Zimmer. Zimmer right now on the racetrack. Tanner Sharp right now coming through turn number 1, and Kyle Zimmer's halfway down the backstretch almost. So we're gonna have to see the difference between the number 25 of Zimmer and Tanner Sharp. Tanner Sharp, in fact, closing in now on
Right
the
there.
number 20 of Dave Wilson. So you don't see,
Right there.
and finally there's Tanner Sharp. So Zimmer at the line now, and Tanner Sharp at the line now. So we'll have to see how big of a difference that is time-wise. But very, very interesting to see that. Kyle Zimmer also first car 1 lap down, so if he was to get a yellow, he would be in the lucky dog position. But AJ Digby continuing to run down these laps as your race leader. And number 14, oh, almost contact there. between
Wow.
Dave Wilson and Tanner Sharp on the backstretch. Oh, Tanner hit the apron there right in the middle of the corner. That's going to boost some speed, and here comes Dave Wilson to the outside. This is a side-by-side battle right now for the 9th position between these two, but when everything all shakes out, this could be for the race lead. There you see a 4-second gap between Kyle Zimmer and
It's
Tanner Sharp.
losing.
And
He
with
is
these,
not doing what he needs to do.
I mean, right now, he's 4 seconds ahead. There's 9 laps to go. Really, that group of cars, Tanner Sharp and Dave Wilson, they'd have to be half a second faster than Kyle Zimmer with these closing laps. Let's see what AJ Digby does. Oh, here comes Tim Masters down pit road. Digby's still running laps in the number 14 machine. He's all by himself out there on the racetrack, although he's got Thomas Wise with the Wise Guys paint scheme right behind him. Still 8 laps to go. Maybe Digby's thinking of staying out. No, here comes Digby. I think Digby's on the brakes. He's going to whoa up that number 14 machine, get down to pit road. There's the number 9 in his pit box. The 66 slid through his pit stall of Brian Lowhead. This is all of a sudden, we're going to find out who's going to win this race right here, right now. I do believe there's the number 17 of Matos hitting pit lane. This is very, very exciting here, Carlos, and this is all due to the fact that they only have 45% fuel. Here comes Digby into his pit box, and Digby, and whoa, almost overshot his pit box. He undershot
heavily.
He
And then he overshot it.
Oh no, this is absolutely disaster
He
for
still
AJ
can't get in
Digby.
there.
He still can't get in his pit box, and that
There
was
goes
because
33.
of the number 9 of Tim Masters. Masters slid through his pit box, or came out of his pit box when the 14 was coming in, and that is just absolutely heartbreak for the number 14. I think it was fuel only, possibly on
There's the
Digby's
33,
stop.
4th position. Give the lead to Kyle
But-
Zimmer, the number 25.
Yeah, Kyle Zimmer out front here, and laps are winding down. 7 laps to go. He got a significant gap over over Dave Wilson and Tanner Sharp. It's about 3.3 seconds with 7 laps to go. Whoa, look at this tight between the number 3 and the number 20. Now the good news
Oh,
for
Doug
the
McCollum
3
had
and
to
the
go
20.
back down pit road.
Oh, maybe he got a penalty, Carlos. That would be a heartbreak.
It's possible. That's definitely not what Doug wanted to see. He had a pretty much good race there, going there until the end. So unfortunate to see as these two drivers, they're going to be bouncing off each other before this race is done. As oh no! Tanner Sharp makes contact at 20. Cautions back out. Save it, save it. Oh, wow. That could have been so much worse for the number 20, David Wilson.
Yeah, Tanner Sharp there just hooked the number 20 on the front stretch, just got into the corner of that race car, sent him back up the racetrack. And that is not, Carlos, that's not what Kyle Zimmer wanted to see. He had this race in the absolute bag in the number 25 machine. Let's see this again. The number 3 just kind of clipped him in the corner, turned
He
him
was trying
right
to
around.
sidedraft, yeah. Knowing Tanner's not the type of person to try to intentionally take anybody out. That was more of a case of trying to get close by and trying to pinch the 20 from trying to get a good angle into that corner. Unfortunately, did not work out as number 20 is going to go for a wild ride here. That could have been so much worse for David Wilson. Almost made contact with the outside wall. Almost made contact with the driver heading towards him, and almost made contact with the inside wall. What a close call for David. If he doesn't have any fast repairs, this was the best possible scenario for him. Driver staying out, not going down pit road. Who else is not going down pit road? The number 4 Nicotella actually is going down pit road. 14, 17 going down pit road. I believe the 20 as well. No, 20 does not. 57, 66 going down pit road as ATVO starting to give me some issues right now.
Yeah, Dave Wilson, he's going to stay out there in the racetrack. Fortunately, he's going to drop down to about the 6th position. Travis Zunema in 5th. Billy Wise, great recovery for the number 32 of Billy Wise and the Magical Butter Machine. He's currently being scored in 4th. Eddie Hawks, remember your Daytona winner, currently being scored in 3rd. Tanner Sharp, after that collision, he does have damage on that number 3 machine, but Tanner Sharp is currently in the 2nd position. It looks like we're probably going to have a 2-lap shootout here, Carlos. It's going to be, a very, very close finish once we get to the end of it. Now that the field has all bunched up, once again, Nate Catilla has used the fast repair finally. It looks like AJ Digby, remember, he had that mishap on pit road, could not find his pit box after he was kind of frightened, I think, by the number 9 machine, Tim Masters, coming out of his pit box. Tim is currently being scored in 13th. Doug McCollum in the number 33 being scored 1 lap down. Remember, he had to come back down pit road, possibly for a penalty. We'll see whether or not that number 33 is able to get back on the lead lap with the lucky dog or not.
Let's go see if we can actually talk to Eddie Hawks. He's in prime position of getting 3 wins in a row here between 2 different series. So give Peter a quick moment to bring Eddie Hawks into it. Hopefully we don't actually have a 1 to go, and we don't. As Peter, are you there? Are you there?
Yeah, I am here, and I've dragged the number 45 of Eddie Hawks here into the booth. Eddie, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Well, man, you're trying to go for your 2nd Cup Series win in just as many races. Great showing last week at Daytona. You got 2 cars in front of you. How are you going to go back to fix your lane here tonight?
I'm going to try to figure out a way. I got four tires. Everybody else took 2. Tanner's got a little bit of damage, but race them clean, race them hard, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, it's been a pretty crazy last half of the race. Of course, the first half was caution-free, and then after that, really everyone turned up the wicks, and some very tight racing with this new Cup package. What are your thoughts about the new Cup package? Are you a fan of it?
Yeah, I like it. It's good hard racing. The car is fine. I took 4 tires in every time, so. But yeah, the car handles good. I prefer long runs. I seem to be able to catch everybody, toward the end of a long run. Not much of a hot lapper, I guess.
Well, you're going to have a short run here to the checkered flag, but 2 wins to start off the season would be a fantastic story here in the SimPossible Racing League Cup Series. So hopefully you can get that done, and best of luck here in the closing laps.
All right, yeah, appreciate it. It's going to be exciting.
All right, well, that is driver of the number 45, Eddie Hawks. Pace car lights are off. We're going to get set to go back to green here, Carlos, with only 2 laps to go. This, I do not believe, will be scored as a green-white. Nope, as I say that, iRacing has clarified that it will be a green-white checker. So this will be the first of the 3 attempts at a green-white checker. It looks like we have completed... We'll have completed 119 laps this time by, so that is why the race has been extended by a lap. And now, currently being shown 121 laps. The overtime rules in NASCAR extend the race for the green-white checker. Got to give a shout out to Max Calder saying, agreeing with Will Worser, saying that Fernando has run a great race tonight, and hopefully Fernando can gain a couple more spots here in this brief run. Currently being scored in 10th. Right behind his teammate, the number 14 of AJ Digby, in 9th. But Carlos, get up out of your seat because this is going to be a spectacular finish.
Okay.
All right, I guess you actually took that literally.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get up out of my seat. How about that? All right, now we're both up out of. Oh, dang it! I can't see my monitor. I have.
I'm on my knees right now.
Oh, well, that's not up. Well, I guess it is out of your seat, but nonetheless,
I'm out of my seat.
Pace car off. pace car on pit road, and we're back to green flag racing here with just 2 laps to go. Let's keep an eye on those cars in the back. Looks like Dave Wilson trying to go 3 wide in the number 20 machine, right up there up top. And whoa,
no!
Contact right up in the front. Eddie Hawks in the number 3 of Tanner Sharp, and Tanner Sharp's
that'll
coming
bring the
around
caution out.
back in the air. And a couple of cars near the back of the pack. Brian Lowhead, Thomas Wise getting involved. AJ Digby still fishtailing going down the backstretch. He's going to keep it off the wall though, so that's good news for Digby, but he's going to lose a couple spots out of this one. But wow, a little bit of contact there between a couple of those cars, and Tanner Sharp in the number 3 machine going around right up at the front. Now he'll find himself well back in this field, and we'll get the second attempt at a green-white checker.
Yeah, it looks like Eddie Hawks either got a little bit too tight or got a little too close, as that 20 got a hard hit on the outside wall. The 3 car going around, getting some heavy damage. I think he might be good. He might still have a fast repair, but that's going to pretty much kill any good shot he would have had in this race, as drops position like a rock. 66, the 20, the 1, all involved. Not the finish that Tanner definitely wanted.
Yeah, I mean, not the finish that Dave Wilson wanted either in that number
not.
23 wide racing, 3 wide TV
Yep, that's
machine.
Technically, we are the 3 wide racing TV. We are 3 wide racing TV. We just never used the
we're
racing
also
part.
3 wide TV on YouTube. So,
That's
but
true.
nonetheless,
That's their shorthand name.
couple of takers on pit road right now to get some of that damage repaired. Good news for the Fernando Matos fans is Fernando Matos came away with that with no damage.
Yeah, he did a great
so
job
James
winning that
Efall
crash.
saying, James Efall coming in the chat saying, ouch, and yeah, ouch. That's right. A couple of those cars getting some major damage, except for Fernando Matos right there on the right side of your screen in the number 17 machine.
Why don't we talk to him?
And Max Calder saying, way to read the crash, Fernando. Let's see if we can talk to the number 17 machine. How about that? Fernando Matos, Peter Short in the 3 wide TV booth. Good copy.
Hey, Peter, what's up?
Well, man, we're up here in the booth, way up top. That's what's up. But man, I'll tell you what is also up is you just jumped from 10th to 5th on that accident right there. You're able to sneak through it with no damage. How'd you do it?
Yeah, man, they sudden I had no choice but to keep my foot to the floor, and somehow the seat spotted and I made it through.
Yeah, sometimes those seas parts on the racetrack, and you're just asking yourself, how on earth did that happen? But you're counting your blessings after that one. Currently in the 5th position, you got fresher tires on the race car than some of the cars in front of you. You think you're going to be able to make a charge up to the front here in 2 laps?
I don't know, man. I'm looking for her to finish harder than win right now. So let's see what happens.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, Fernando, it's been a good race by you. I know you got used a couple of your fast repairs, but that number 17 machine currently inside the top 5. Hopefully you can finish this one off with a good finish.
Thank you, Peter.
All right. Well, that is driver of the number 17 machine, Fernando Matos. And Carlos, it's going to be, once again, a very interesting finish. Hopefully we can keep it clean and green here towards the end, but this will be the second of 3 attempts at a green-white checker. We still have one more attempt in our back pocket. Let me ask you, do you think we're going to use a 3rd attempt at the green-white checker here?
I don't think so. These guys know how to race properly. They've made a couple mistakes here and there, but I think this one's going to go by pretty cleanly. But we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, get a quick word in from iRacing, and we'll be right back.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Here we're wrapping up the second of the 2020 SimPossible Racing League Cup Series events, and pace car lights are off, and there goes the pace car back onto pit road, racing the hands of Kyle Zimmer. Remember, he had a two-tire strategy to get himself to the race lead. Is he going to be able to take the checkered flag? Only time will tell, as that number 25 gets a great restart. He's going to be able to clear Eddie Hawks going off into turn number 1. Remember, that 45 got a little bit of damage after that contact with the number 3 machine of Tanner Sharp. Here comes Billy Wise.
Wrecking behind.
Big wreck back behind.
Caution's back out.
Huge wreck, and caution is back in the air here at Las Vegas. And we got the 66 hard in the outside wall. We got the number 9, Tim Masters involved. Let's see what happened. Ooh, looks like Digby and Masters, they might have been 3 wide there, Carlos. And just a little bit of contact led to, oh, look at Dave Wilson trying to save it. Look at the one of Thomas Weiss trying to save it. My, oh my. We'll have our third attempt at the green-white checker. Ooh, Nate Catilla getting into that outside wall. And wow, oh my. We're going to have our third and final attempt here in just a little bit at the green-white checker, Carlos. Big wreck.
Yeah, here's on board with the 4, Nate Catilla. After the slight contact with the rear bumper, the 9 kind of jacked up his car and then shot him straight up into the outside wall. And then ricocheted back onto the 9, adding pretty much more insult to injury, as I don't believe he has any more fast repairs, as Nate Catilla's going to be trying to finish this race without a front bumper.
And Carlos, I went back and watched the accident in slow motion. It looked like AJ Dick, there was a little bit of a hole underneath the number 9 of Tim Masters, so he took it. And on my screen, there was never any contact between the 14 and the 9. A little bit of net code. Granted, they were very, very tight with one another, and they were 3 wide. The 14 on the bottom, the 9 in the middle, and the 4 of Cotilla on the top. But it looked possibly like a little bit of net code might have been involved in that accident here to bring out this caution flag. Now, it will be interesting to see whether or not any of these drivers elected to possibly short fuel the car a little bit, and whether or not any of these drivers may run out here under these green-white checkers. This being the third and final attempt, and we do have a lucky dog, that being the number 98 of Christopher Bursch. He's still going to be 1 lap down, but beyond him, we're going to have 14 cars on the lead lap, which is good news. Dave Wilson and the number 20 trying to get as much damage repaired as possible. That car without a front bumper. So my, oh my, Nick Till also without a front bumper out there. Tanner Sharp with a very crinkled in front end after leading a portion of this race. AJ Digby now with some damage. Fernando Matos, still no damage on that car. He's been ahead of the most recent melee. So Fernando Matos, can he come away with a better finish? Travis Zudema, what a recovery he's had tonight in the number 90 NOS Energy Drink Chevrolet. 2 laps down earlier in this race, now running in the 4th position. Billy Wise, also great recovery for him. Remember, he was without a hood around the halfway distance, just after the halfway mark. That number 32 machine was
try talking to him.
out there. Yeah, let's see if we can dial up number 32. How about that? Good idea there, Carlos.
Chance to communicate with Billy Wise, one of the famous members of the Wise Guys. But let's go see if Peter has caught up with Billy.
And I've caught up with Billy Wise of the world-famous Wise Guys, sporting that magical butter scheme. And Billy, man, what a recovery for you. You were missing a hood at one point in this race, but now you're up there near the front. Tell us a little bit about your race so far and whether or not you're going to be able to take the lead.
Oh, man, it's been rough for sure. But that last stop, we took 2 tires, used our last quick repair, and missed a couple wrecks since then, and here we are in 3rd. So, yeah, we're going to give it our all. These guys got a little damage in front of us. We're pretty clean, so hopefully we get a good restart here. We're going to go for it.
Yeah, speaking of clean, that is one clean-looking race car. Great paint scheme, of course, Magical Butter with their new paint scheme, or their new logo, and you've incorporated that into your race car. That race car looks nice and clean. Tell us a little bit about who painted that car and how awesome it is to have it out there on the racetrack.
I painted this car. I've had Magical Butter on my car for about 4 years now, pretty much full time. And so when they rebranded, yeah, it was kind of cool. It's a different look, and we've had some pretty good luck with it so far this year.
Yeah, great looking paint scheme, but Billy, I think we're probably going to get the one to go this time, so we'll let you get back to it, but best of luck here in the final 2 laps.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, well, that is driver of the number 32 Magical Butter Machine of Billy Wise, currently being scored in the 3rd position. We'll see if the pace car lights do turn off, and
They do.
indeed they do. So we're going to have one to go under this caution. This will be the last attempt at the green-white checker. The 3rd and final attempt here is SimPossible Racing League. But, man, it's been a crazy finish to this race, Carlos. I mean, we saw all that green flag action early in the race, but now all of a sudden, cautions breeding cautions out of this group. And with only 2 laps to go, it's been pretty chaotic.
Yeah, it's definitely been a chaotic latter half. We did have a little bit there in the last, like halfway to go in that last segment where it was a little bit. We did have a little bit of a green flag run, but still just a little bit chaotic compared to that first half with no cautions throughout. But yeah, seeing how these guys are going, it'll be hectic. But yeah, my last prediction was incorrect. I think this prediction will be correct. I think these guys will make it clean to the end.
Well, I sure do hope so, because we're not going to have another shot at a green-white checker if they do have an accident. Really, the leader has to make it around 1 lap for the race to go green to the end. So we'll see whether or not Kyle Zimmer can do so. Got to give a shout-out to Nicky Worsler, James Efall, Johnny Berardi, all in the chat. Johnny Berardi saying his gas pedal broke tonight, so that's a tough break. But
Big rip.
here is the green flag. Hopefully all these drivers have working gas pedal, because they better be on it here. 2 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. And look at Billy Wise. Oh, making a little bit of contact there with Eddie Hawks. Battle for the second between that number 32 and the 45. Can Billy Wise pull ahead of Eddie Hawks? Looks like he can right now. Can Billy Wise close in on the back bumper of the number 25 machine of Kyle Zimmer? Zimmer throwing the block down there on the front stretch. Let's keep an eye on the number 14.
Oh no, wrecking behind! Caution's out.
And caution is out. This race is now over. My oh my, we'll have to see how iRacing scores it, but still wrecking. The 9 and the 1 still going around on the front stretch. But there was contact, and it is absolute heartbreak, Carlos, for Eddie Hawks in the number 45 machine. An absolute fantastic race all night long. Your Daytona winner, there's the 4 of Catilla also getting involved. But Eddie Hawks, let's see exactly what happened here going off into the corner. He's racing
the 90 got tight.
Yeah, it looked like Zudema might have washed up the racetrack a little bit. I know Matos there actually got a piece of it, unfortunately. It's like he's being scored in 7th. So we'll have to see how this all sorts out. But watch that number 90 machine down there on the inside. Looks like he washes up the racetrack. The 14 of Digby had to go all the way to the top side of the racetrack to avoid being involved. Yeah, and watch the number 1. Yeah, right at the end, the number 1 got hooked up into the wall. That's a tough luck. Here we go on board with Dave Wilson, I do believe. This is Fernando Matos, sorry. The number 17 machine. Really nowhere for him to go, right into the back of Zudema down there. And this is Thomas Wise in the number 1. No, just hooked. Tried to save it hard into the outside wall right in front of the 9 of Tim Masters. Now, this is going to really change how everything goes. But Kyle Zimmer is going to come across the start-finish line and take the checkered flag for his first ever SimPossible Racing League Cup Series victory, and only the 2nd ever SimPossible Racing League Cup Series race. But he's won quite a few events here in the SimPossible Racing League. So, yep, that number 25 machine going to victory lane once again. I'm sure Zimmer will be very, very happy with that. And Carlos, I'm going to go back to it. Go back about 35, 40 laps ago, and I said the man who's going to win this race, just with how the caution flag and those last few runs sorted themselves out, I said the person who wins this race is going to have to take 2 tires. That's what Kyle Zimmer did, and that's what got him out front, and that's what finally got him to victory lane. Great strategy call by that man right there to get the win. What about Billy Wise? We just talked to him. He's going to come home in 2nd. What a strategy call that he had. Travis Zudema, recovery for him. He's going to come home in 3rd. I'm sure he's going to be a little bit bummed about that accident there coming to the white flag lap, but he's going to come away with 3rd here tonight in that NOS energy drink race car. Eddie Hawks, on the other hand, very tough way to finish for him tonight, down in 11th. That highs of last week at Daytona to the lows of here tonight out in the desert in Las Vegas. But what that number 45 of Eddie Hawks was experiencing last week, well, that's what the number 25 of Kyle Zimmer gets to experience here tonight, burning it down right here on the front stretch, and he's going to get to go to victory lane here, as it looks like Fernando Mato is also going to join in some celebratory donuts. And there you see off the nose of the number 98, Christopher Burge. Unfortunately finished one lap down in the 14th position, but he was able to finish the race. And looking at it, I think Brian Lowhead even finished the race. So it looks like we only had 2 cars retire from tonight's race. Pretty good race here, Carlos. Fantastic first half of the race. Lots of green flag action. And then second half, the action really picked up. But all in all, there was action throughout this entire race. Ricky Worcester saying, great race, guys. Congrats to all Will Worcester Racing. We'll get him next week. Max Calder saying, great broadcast, fun race. Thank you for that, Max. Will Worcester Racing saying 2 top 5s, 3 in the top 10, and Nate was fast tonight. Very, very cool to see that out of Will Worcester, supporting his Will Worcester Racing guys. And look at that. 25 Kyle Zimmer and 98 Christopher Burge burning them down here on the front stretch. But we're going to step away for just a brief moment here on 3Y TV, and we'll be back with some interviews here in just a brief moment.
Go to the bathroom. Mike was muted. Unmuted.
BRB.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I'm going to see if we can dial up a couple of drivers to speak to for interviews here tonight. Trying to see if I can find Travis Zudema in here, your third place finisher. I actually don't see Travis Zudema in the channel anymore. It looks like he has left, so we won't be able to interview with your third place finisher tonight. But let's see if we can dial up possibly the fourth place finisher, that being the number 14 of AJ Digby. AJ Digby, Peter Short here in the 3Y TV booth. You get a copy?
Yep.
Well, wasn't quite your night. Got involved in a scuffle or two there towards the end of the race, but you were able to bounce back, come home with a fourth place finish here tonight. Led 40 laps in that number 14 machine. Tell us a little bit about your night and those closing laps, because action really picked up.
Yeah, most of the race was just kind of chilling out, saving fuel. Was able to run a little bit of extra laps at the end of each stint because I was just kind of chilling out, saving tires, saving fuel, being more so cautious at the beginning. And then once I felt like I was able to get up to the front, I kind of showed I had one of the cars to beat, was able to consistently hold the front, and was out there hoping for some more green flag runs. And obviously we had some cautions start to happen and brew up, and that was whatever. But we had a strategy to have a little splash and go there with about 7 laps to go, and 9 car pulled out of pit road right in front of me as I was about to pull into my stop, and just completely, I had to evade him to not wreck on pit road because he pulled out right in front of me. So by evading him, I had to then try to wiggle my way back into my pit stop and back up into it. And that essentially cost us, I think, 12 seconds when I went back and counted on pit road, just trying to dodge him and wiggle my way back into pit road. So I wish I didn't get pulled out on right there. Really hurt me, because then when I came out, even though there was a caution, I was in 6th or 7th and had to pit from further back in the pack and then just make my way from the back from there on out. Because even if that wouldn't have happened, even with caution, I would have been up in the front of everybody who pitted. So really up and down roller coaster night coming into those last 2 restarts. I was towards the back of the pack, saw some gaps, made some moves, and was able to come away with a 4th place finish, I guess, in the end. Nothing against him, love Travis, but don't know how the 90 was able to finish 3rd after being in the wreck on that last caution, and kind of being the wreck on that last caution. I feel like iRacing is supposed to understand that, but it's whatever. Come away with the 4th place finish, top 5, good points. Some of the other top competitors had pretty bad point nights, so coming away in 4th is never too awful, but I know I had a car to be towards the front, if not at the front, at the end of this, had it stayed green or gone a little bit better. No, that's just the thing with these green white checkers, is it's straight shootout, so it's kind of all about track position there.
Well, nonetheless, you're able to get number 14 home with a good finish here tonight, and I'll tell you what, should be a fantastic race when we go to Auto Club here next week. And what are your thoughts about going there?
Yeah, I haven't really ran Auto Club. I haven't really ran anywhere with car up until the week before we run, so I'm excited to test that out here in the coming days. It's a track I've always kind of liked, really been great at, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully, with it being a little bit more open, there's a little bit more raceability than the Daytona style running here at Las Vegas. So just overall not a huge fan of this Cup package yet. Still working into it. I feel like I've done pretty well with it, but just doing well and liking it are 2 different things. But we'll see what happens at Auto Club next week. I have put myself into a decent position these last few weeks and accruing points, and just gonna try to keep the steam rolling a little bit more, and just got to have 1 or 2 balls bounce my way, and we can come out on top, I think, next week.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is your 4th place finish here tonight. But before we let you go, any shout-outs there, AJ?
Yeah, the Chevy Camaro Will Warser Racing Zulu Motorsports machine was real fast tonight. Definitely have to thank everybody there. I have to thank Will for his help going into tonight, knowing kind of lines to run, things to do. Have to give a special shout out to my dad, Gordon. It was his first time spotting for me. He recently got iRacing not that long ago. His first time spotting for me in the series tonight. Did a good job. Still some things to work on, but his first ever spotting experience. So huge thanks to him for helping me out as a spotter and crew chief all night. And otherwise, Jeff for putting on the league, and you guys for the broadcast. I cannot wait to watch this action later.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck next week there, AJ, and hopefully we get to talk to you then.
Thank you very much.
All right, Carlos, that was tonight's 4th place finisher. But let's see if we can dial up the number 32 of Billy Wise, of course, one of the Wise guys. And Carlos, why didn't you take away Billy Wise?
Yeah, if you want yourself a nice, good finish, definitely want to improve up on those top 5s, well, then I got nothing else to say except for Billy Wise here, getting himself another fantastic finish there. Billy, you are just a machine, getting yourself some good finishes. How was your vehicle there tonight?
Oh, I felt like we were pretty fast, for sure. We could keep up with the top 5, top 6. And pretty early on, we were running 6th, actually, and kind of by ourselves. And we got mixed up with a lap car that kind of took us out. And we were pretty frustrated after that for pretty much the rest of the race until, I don't know, last stop. I took 2 tires and missed a couple cautions after that and just ended up in 2nd. So I just can't believe it, really.
Yeah. Pardon me there. I had to take care of a small issue, but yeah, ended up getting a good finish, and sure you definitely want to go for the win if you had a couple more laps. Definitely seems like maybe you could have had it. Is there anything you would have changed there at the end?
The only thing I would have changed really is I had an excellent restart. I was on Kyle's
Yes.
bumper, and but I drifted up into the middle lane and kind of doored Eddie there a little bit, and I felt really bad about that. I thought I took him out, but then watching the replay, he saved it, and then I think Travis got into him there and spun him out. But to change anything, I couldn't have done anything different. I was stuck on the bottom there behind Kyle.
All right. Well, unfortunately, you weren't able to get that win. But hey, a second place is great for this very early on in the season, getting yourself up there in points. Daytona behind you, Las Vegas now behind you. We move on over to Auto Club. Are you looking forward to that track?
Yeah, Auto Club's okay. I've never ran too good there, but I haven't run the Cup car there, so we'll see.
All right, well, before we do let you go, why don't you go ahead and give us some of them sweet shout-outs.
Got to give a shout-out to magicalbutter.com. In fact, I believe today they just, before they just did, they had an appliance out there for herbal extractions, but today they launched a whole new line of CBD products. So I can't wait to try those. So magicalbutter.com and ASF, Action Sports Foundation. Really cool foundation. Check them out at actionsportsfoundation.org.
Yeah, I believe you were doing something with them this weekend, weren't you?
Yeah, they had a WCMX competition, a wheelchair skating competition. I didn't actually go Saturday to the competition, but Sunday they had like a cookout after party kind of thing, and the Wise Guys played there, and we had an excellent time. It was an awesome event.
All right, well, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you race next week.
Thank you very much.
All right, that was Billy Wise there, getting himself another great finish. Second place, moving on, I believe Peter Short has caught up with our race winner, Kyle Zimmer.
Yes, I have caught up with the number 25 of Kyle Zimmer. And Kyle, absolute fantastic race for you here tonight. Kept that number 25 up front, and you led 25 laps, but you made that decision on pit road to only take 2 tires towards the closing laps, and you were able to come home with the checkered flag. What was going through your mind going into that pit stop? What led you to only choose 2 tires? Did you think that was the right strategy at the end?
It was a great race overall. We had, I think, caution free the first half of the race. It was great battling with everyone up at front. Yeah, and then the final stop, I took a gamble of 2 tires, and I was just praying for no caution or yellow flag at the last few laps. And once we got the yellow flag came, I was definitely hoping to hold off everyone behind me. Was able to pay it off with all the caution we had, and all of 3 great white truckers, so was able to take home the win. But it was definitely a little nerve wreck going to the final restart. I wasn't sure if my left side was going to be able to hold up. All the guys who had fresher tires, I think about 10-15 laps fresher tires than I have. But yeah, I was able to hold off, and the gamble did pay off to get the win tonight.
Well, definitely a fantastic win for you, and now you can say that you have won both in the trucks, the B car and the Cup Series car in the SimPossible Racing League. That is quite a feat. Tell us a little bit about these Cup cars. Are you a fan of these Cup cars? Have you been looking forward to running them each and every week? And tell us a little bit about possibly Auto Club next week as well.
Yeah, it's great to have a win in each category of like you said, K&N, B car, truck, and Cup. I have won I think three of those different series, and at this track alone, one each piece. The cup cars are definitely, it's fun, it's easier to handle, but it's definitely challenging once you try to pass, especially pass battling with the leaders, and that's definitely going to be a challenge part, try to pass the leader, try to stay up the front, that's basically the key. I would say I am definitely a fan of it with short tracks. I know NASCAR has changed the short track, the spoilers, so hoping iRace will change that, apply to that setting for the new bill coming up at the next after, in time for Phoenix race. But other than that, I love racing cup cars at the plate tracks. It's definitely going to be a fun challenge, especially next week at Auto Club. Auto Club is definitely going to be a wide open track for sure. But I do believe the tires will wear out more because how aggressive the track is with the inch and so bumpy track. Definitely don't want to push your car too much. I think early in the run, because I think in the once we have long green flags, whoever saves their tire wear most probably will have the fastest car until the green pit stops. So it's definitely going to be something to watch next week. Look forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, tonight, great call once again to only take 2 tires, get that number 25 out front. You never looked back. But before we let you go, Kyle, do you have any shout-outs for us?
Yes, I definitely like to shout out to you guys. I'm Big One TV, and broadcasting once again weekly, both Monday and Wednesday nights. Huge shout out to you guys. Love watching you guys, and I also want to thank Jeff who created this. Thank been great, and I want to thank everyone who participated last couple of years. It's been great racing with them, especially coming from Truck Series and all the way to Cup Series. I also want to thank my sponsor, BW Design, for coming on the barn for an entire season and got them to win tonight. Also want to thank Hudson Work and Potage Racing and everyone in my team for the support. And looking forward to next week. Thank you.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is your race winner here tonight. Driver of the number 25 machine and getting his first career Cup Series victory here in the SimPossible Racing League, the number 25 of Kyle Zimmer. So very, very cool to see that, Carlos. Kyle winning in yet another category. But I think tonight, all we have left is possibly maybe a cameo from Jeff Schmidt there, Carlos?
I don't know. I think is that? I've never seen him. He is eating a churro. Jeff, where'd you get those churros?
Hey, there's a guy down by turn 4, the little stand. I think he's packing up soon. You might want to hurry.
The one next to the toilets.
Yeah, right over there.
Oh, okay. Oh, anyway, Jeff, well, I hope you enjoy that churro, as I hope you also enjoy the racing that was out there tonight. Definitely some tough competition, pretty much with a bunch of these drivers not only being able to stay with the pack, but also seeing new drivers contend for the win week in and week out.
Yeah, man, we had a heck of a run that first run. I don't know what we had, at least 3 or 4 green flag pit stops there. Of course, we do run what we call realistic fuel. So whatever percentage of the race that we run compared to the actual cup race, that's the percentage of fuel that we run as well. And I'll tell you what, man, that's made for some interesting racing and some awesome pit strategy stuff. It's a nail biter to see what these guys are going to do, and who's going to take 2, who's going to take 4, when they're going to pit. It really shakes things up, but in the end, cautions breed cautions, and I think that's what we've seen there in the second half of the race. It's just a matter of when do you stack that field up, and everyone wants positions that it's nothing intentional, obviously, just hard racing. And but that first run was great, man.
Yeah, it definitely was, and it's looking like a good sign of things that are going to be coming with this racing league, and it's something that I can't wait to continue broadcasting with you guys, as this Cup season is looking to be very, very fun. But moving on to Auto Club next week, what are your thoughts for that track?
Yeah, that's going to be completely different from what we've seen so far. So far in SimPossible Racing League, all we've had is a Daytona and a Vegas race, and Auto Club's a very different track than these two. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I think the draft is going to be a huge part there, obviously, with this package. Green flag pit stops there is going to be interesting as well. We're looking forward to it. It's gonna give us an idea, kind of, with this race, Daytona and Auto Club. With those three racetracks being so different, it's kind of going to give us a better idea of what to expect later in the season. But yeah, so far so good. Cup season's being good to us, and it's looking like a lot of fun out there for these guys.
All right, well said. Well, before we do let you go, because I believe you've got some interesting stuff you want to do right about now. The next little bonus project that you've been doing and working up for. But before we do let you go to do that, why don't you go ahead and give us some of those sweet shout-outs.
Yeah, first off, you guys at 3Wide TV. Los, Peter, amazing job, man. Always amazing. I love watching the races after the race, and I know all the drivers do. And all the spectators that watch live, thank you for everyone that does watch live. It's really neat. It's cool to see the chat active. We love to talk to people, man. We love you to come watch this and to come say whatever you want. Just say hi if you want. Say hello and let your presence knowing that you're there watching and hanging out with us. What we do is a really cool thing, and the more support, the better, and the more viewers, the better. So you guys do a fantastic job with the broadcast, and I know these guys can't wait to watch it after the race. So yeah, other than that, got to thank iRacing for their support as well with this league, and of course the drivers themselves, their family members, everyone that helps them out. Got a couple guys, behind the curtains like Will Worsler and Wayne Lowe that help these guys out, behind the scenes, like I said, as spotters and team owners. It's really interesting this year with all the different teams we have running out there, and it's just really neat, man. Thank you to Kyle Zimmer for doing our website for us and all the work that he's done with all the statistics and basically just designing that website, SimPossibleRacing.com. Go check it out. It's pretty awesome. The whole schedule's there. The rules are there. Stories as well. And thank you for Fernando for coming in and writing some articles and editing. He's a great writer, man. If you want to check out his writings, he's got a couple stories up there at SimPossibleRacing.com of some kind of post-race articles. They're really neat to read. And usually there's some screenshots up there as well of the cars. So got to thank those guys. Got to thank Billy, too, for helping me admin and for doing the posters for us and everything that he does, man. He's a great help here. And, and also I got to give a huge shout-out to Skylar Allen for hosting our TeamSpeak server and for hosting the website as well. So thank you so much, Skylar, for what you do. And man, we'll pack it up. We'll hit the B car on Monday, and be back in Cup on Wednesday.
All right, well said. Well, we hope you have a great weekend. Hope your project goes nice and smoothly, and we'll see you on Monday.
Thanks, guys.
All right, well, that was Jeff Schmidt, but Peter Short, believe you've got some final things you want to say. Oh, wait, no, before we do get to that, Peter, we got one last thing we got to take care of. Do you know what that is?
The final race results.
Yes.
And boom, they are. Tough Acting Tenactin. Kyle Zimmer
what?
coming
No,
home with
we are not
win.
sponsored by Tough Acting Tenactin.
No, we're not. But I've just got to, man, whenever you say boom, you have to be like, what's his face? John Madden. Anyway, Kyle Zimmer comes home with a race win. Billy Wise comes home in second. Travis Zudema comes home third. AJ Digby in fourth. Fernando Matos, good recovery for him to finish inside the top five. Doug McCollum comes home in sixth in the number 33 machine. Really patient race from Doug McCollum tonight. Didn't mention his name all too much here tonight. But in that sixth position here tonight, Tom Johnson comes home in seventh in the number 57 machine. Tanner Sharp, man, what a night it could have been for him. Led the most laps, 42 laps to be exact, only finishing in eighth with a fairly damaged race car. Tim Masters comes home in ninth, and Dave Wilson up near the front for a lot of the race as well, but damaged race car right there at the end comes home in 10th there, Carlos.
Yep. In 11th place, pardon me as I get the hiccups there again. Eddie Hawks looking very strong tonight. Definitely not happy with how this finish ended up. Definitely something he probably would have been proud. And you know what, Eddie, I hope you're proud of the run you had tonight. You had a fast vehicle and definitely were in contention to get 3 wins in a row between the 2 series. Thomas Wise was pretty much marred back a lap down, 2 laps down the whole race and did a fantastic job getting himself back on the lead lap. So Thomas Weiss, I know you didn't get the finish you wanted, but you were strong all night. Nicotilla finishing in 13th, not how he wanted his race to end. Chris Roberge as well in 14th. Brian Lowhead will be finishing 15th. Alan Capers 16th, and Johnny Berardi in 17th.
Carlos, all in all, fantastic race, and I'm looking forward to Auto Club next week. Like you said, there are a few last things to say. Got to give our shout out to our friends over at SimTV for the camera package that we have here on 3YTV, and also our friends from OCR TV, Thomas Morris, for the graphics package. But for myself, Peter Short, and Carlos Acosta, we bid each and every one of you good night. Hope to see you again in 1 week's time when we go to Auto Club Speedway for the SimPossible Racing League Cup Series. But until then, see ya!